Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Anthony. You can call me Nitro if you so choose. And we are here today after 14 weekends of games, 34 teams competing for a spot in today's match. We are down to the grand final of the Fall Seasonal 2022. DC versus CoRe, both teams undefeated, both teams looking to claim a championship game today, and today it's time to find out who that's going to be. We have a great show for you planned today before the game, so stick around. We're talking to so many special guests and friends today. We're talking to our fellow casters. We're talking to teams who have played against DC and CoRe. We're talking to DC and CoRe. And of course, maybe one or two special guests along the way. So thank you again. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the show. And we're looking forward to today's match. Thanks again, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Welcome, everybody. We are getting ourselves ready for DC versus CoRe on Hill 400, and we're joined by some friends today. We are joined by our fellow casters here for the seasonal, and I'd like to introduce each one of them. Let's start with Mr. Das Altberg. How are you doing today?
I'm not muted, no. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Gotcha. And I'm doing very well. I had good food. I had a bit of streaming. And now it's a chill little Saturday. Sunday, definitely.
Sunday, right. Because we're doing this live. Yes.
Haha! Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
We're doing it live. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you here. To the right of your screen, we have Kendrick. Kendrick, hello. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I am looking forward to this match a lot.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I think we're all very excited about this one. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we have City Beats. City, hello. Happy Sunday. How's your day going today?
Hello. Sunday. My Sunday is it's finals day. Let's go, baby.
Day. Finals day is a good day. Absolutely. And of course, last but not least, we have my co-caster, the one and only Magic Jokic. Magic, good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good morning, Anthony. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, we're happy to have the whole bunch on today. We got a couple things to talk about, some things to share, and of course, the thing we're talking about is seasonal. We've all casted several games this seasonal, and I think we've all managed to get some pretty exciting moments, some good matchups, and I want to briefly talk about some of our favorite games. So we will start with Altberg. Let's talk about one of your favorite games that you've casted so far. What can you tell us about that game?
Favorite game. Let me just think. Oh, would be the DC against, let's see. Oh god, Glow Legion and with Voids.
Void,
there you go. I got all three of them. Yeah, we go. Yeah, all the names. No, it was would be that one because it was in when was it, October? 3rd of October. Start of October. And it was the first one on the Remagen.
That's right. Yeah, that was
and it was
that was
the
a game.
mean one. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you remember about that game specifically? What was so memorable about it?
I thought it would be well, the thing was, if I remember correctly, it was mostly over the bridge itself, so it was a nice little fight. DC was on the axis, so DC was already favored as a winner potentially. But it took them quite a while, and it was glorious with some amazing combat on the actual bridge itself, including some very odd bugs we found. For example, you drive the Puma on the border of the lovely bridge. You leave that Puma, you get glitched out outside. Not on top of the tank, but outside. Over the open ground and fall to your death. Amazing.
I believe that was Mr.
There was some good stuff on that map. Yeah.
That was Truma, I believe, who unfortunately suffered that fate.
Wasn't that also the game where the DC trucks got all sniped in the beginning? Or was it the other Remagen game?
Yes, this was the glorious match where they lost three lovely trucks.
Yeah, that was definitely a great way to kick off the season because I think that was week 1 of the first stage, right? That was probably one of the first games. It might have been first or second. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was definitely a great game. I think that it was a fun way to kick off the seasonal. DC show their dominance early. And we did actually get to talk to some players from both DC and Glow Legion Void about that game. So you'll see that later in today's presentation. But before that, let's move on to Kendrick. Kendrick, what can you tell us about your favorite game that you've casted so far?
My favorite game was pretty early on in the season as well, between Ark and Hated and Cerberus on Utah Beach. The game itself was like 90 minutes or 80 minutes, sorry, was kinda Plus the both South Points was South Point into, I don't remember the second point for the allies in the south, but it was a hard grind there. So it was never doable to get back for Hated and Cerberus. So they actually tried like a little convoy play with a half track all the way down south with like 3 tanks. That was like really, really nice play for me to watch and cast. So yeah, that's
Nice.
my favorite part.
Okay. I actually have a similar, excuse me, a similar game where I got to cast a match with Ark and 126, and they played Sesh. This was in the first stage. They played on St. Mary Glees, and the midpoint was Checkpoint. And Sesh held that midpoint for the entire match up until the last 3 to 3.5 minutes of the game. Ark finally came back and made a push to come and capture the point, and they managed to hold off the counterattack for the last minute and a half. So it was very exciting, great comeback for the French team. And I believe that was the one that secured them their spot in the second stage. So a lot on the line for both teams, and it was a very exciting match. So, City, let's move on to you. Tell us about your favorite game so far that you've casted.
Oh man, too many like cool games. I've been kind of it's been nice, but to keep it brief, I would say the Golf versus Raptors game. I think that was a really good game. There was a lot of action, even though I couldn't see shit because it was Hurricane night. But it was just like nobody was being really cheesy. They were just like coming at each other and just meat grinding it the whole time for the middle point. I think it was like Scar or something like that. But
Did you say that was Hurricane Night?
Hurricane night. Yep.
Oh boy, nice. Okay.
Hurricane night.
How was that
Golf
admin
versus
cam
Raptors.
POV?
It was a lot of top views and a lot of blue dots and red dots. But
Yeah.
it was a pretty good game, especially looking at it from the top. You just see how everything kind of unfolds and how Golf ended up winning that match.
Yeah, Golf was a team that I think did surprisingly well this seasonal. I think as far as upsets and surprises, Golf performed very well. I know compared to their previous record in seasonal, it was a nice surprise to see another NA team perform as well as Golf did. And I think one thing that is interesting to see is the comparison between like EU HLL versus NA HLL. NA gets memed a lot in esports, but I think in this case, a lot of teams have really performed well and shown that they can compete, even though there's no NA teams in the final. But still, they've done fairly well. So
They've got you, Nitro.
if only I could play, but no.
I mean,
DC has some NA players too. There's a couple of guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
also
there you
last
go.
year, what was it, the fall seasonal? No, spring. The last seasonal. I mean, TL made it to the finals. So
They did, yeah. And
Yeah,
came close
exactly.
to beating CoRe. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
very, very close,
If they just didn't mess up that defense. God.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was all Kalito and that tank on the Barnes.
Well, Magic, let's move on to you. Tell us about a game that you casted, your most memorable match. Magic, we actually casted all of our games together, so I'm curious to know what your thought is or what your game selection is.
I'm going to go with the TL and STDB, and we casted them twice, but I'm going to go with, I think, the first match, just because it was all cheese. It was like
Oh.
Exploit City.
Yeah,
That was the match where they had the gentleman's agreement for only the one arty gun,
right.
and both teams had players in the HQ, like killing everyone but the arty. They were camping the tankers and taking down the nodes, and it was kind of a meme. And then TL built that AT gun on top of the radar tower. That got patched out pretty quickly from the game, and also the recon OP exploit
OP
that
glitch.
STDB was doing.
Yeah.
So not necessarily my favorite game for good reasons, but there was a lot of cheese, a lot of exploits, and ultimately it was good because that stuff got pushed out of the game.
Yeah, that is true. And we talk about the cheese strats all the time, whether it be, the recon OP glitch, it could be 10-man OPs. Rocket sniping is pretty cheese to me. There's always going to be debate about what's allowed and what's not. I think in this case, the right decisions were made as to what's actually allowed in the seasonal rules, as well as, the developers actually patching out that AT gun glitch, because that was awful. Shame on you, TL. So I do want to showcase some of our favorite clips from games that we've casted. So we are going to pull this up on our monitor here. This is and I'll go ahead and showcase my clip first. I just have one to share. This was the Arc and Sesh game. This was the last minute or so that Arc actually came back, or Arc and 126, I should say, came back and actually capped the point. Let's take a look. And Arc and 126 throwing everybody onto the point at this time. Now this PZ4 is going to dive in. Try to come in from the other side. Reinforce is up here. Puma's going to go down. It's falling apart for Sesh. And Arc just have to hold this. If they get the cap, just need to hold it for just over a minute and a half. They're almost there. Here come the Rockets. That Panzer not going to get to the point in time. And that is a 3-2 lead for Arc and 126. 3 minutes and 33 seconds left. Sesh have to start capping at the 2-minute mark. Otherwise, it's GG, game over. And Arc and 126 will have secured their place. Sesh is going all in on checkpoint. They are capping. And Route to Gambasville is contested. Both points being contested. It looks like Sesh should be defending now. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now. Under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This could still go either way. The airhead is down for Arc. So they can spawn quite easily here. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Both teams are defending their respective points. And with just a couple of seconds left, it looks like they may hold on as the Panzer IV goes down. And it looks like that is going to be a GG.
GG.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
I must say, as an artillery player myself, I'm getting really excited by all these guys just clumped up together, you know?
Let's go to City. You have a couple of clips here. This first one is going to be, looks like an Esprit de Corps game versus Nirvana. Tell us about this clip.
Man, I was curious because at the beginning of the game, my co-caster Wix from GXV, we were casting this game, and at the beginning of the game, we saw an airhead like when it came up at the last point, but we chat was like, oh, probably misclick or like MA things or something like that. But as we went on, as if you guys look at the clip, we end up finding a fucking AT gun. So this is the first time I've ever seen it.
Oh, I know.
This was before the TL game or like STDB.
Right.
So everybody was like, what the fuck?
Let's take a look at this clip and see what he's talking about.
What in the world? That's an AT gun.
Hold on, dog. T-Raw doing the most over here.
How do they have any 76s if he's got an AT gun up there? That's what I want to know.
Holy shit. Well, you saw it here, guys. ESPT using height advantage and a AT gun.
So, as I said, shame on TL for using that. Shame on you, Esprit de Corps. Shame on you. That is, that was one of the craziest clips I had seen in a long time when that first came out. And it is, looking at the clip now, it's got almost 600 views. So it is a popular one for sure. City, you have another clip here to show us. It looks like this is from the Goff versus Raptors game on Hurricane Night. Let's take a look at this clip.
Gary, somewhere over there, there's an OP over there, but fuck, they have no
Good
time
old
to breathe
Hurricane
right
Night.
now from Raptors
see
as
nothing.
they're getting recapped. Raptors are just surrounding them. A big spawn wave coming. Oh my god, dude! Holy shit!
It's just a blue canvas with some
It's
dots on
amazing.
it.
It's like they're playing Subnautica or something. It's just that's a lot of blue.
It is quite
yeah,
a bit of blue.
That clip specifically, you could just tell just from that clip like how the match was going all game. It was just like bare knuckle fighting basically. If
Yeah,
they're just going at it.
one of the
Loved
most
it.
satisfying things to see in a game. It's just a fresh OP spawn or a fresh garrison spawn, just instantly get wiped. It's quite satisfying to watch. So, Kendrick, I believe this next clip is from you, if I have this correct. This is, it looks like Cerberus and Hated versus Ark and 126. Tell us about this clip.
Yeah, this is exactly the play I was talking about. This is my favorite game I casted, and you can see there's 10 minutes left on your top of your screen. And there's like one moment, I think a tank dies or something, and that's the go moment for the commander to send a whole convoy with a half-track in there. In the end, yeah, you can see what happens, but in the end, it didn't really work out for them. But it was still quite creative.
Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, so that one.
Oh, they go. They're going. The convoy is actually going.
Alright.
I've never seen this. It's actually the two tanks.
Oh, 276s now. Okay.
Okay. They was
Stewart
going out.
behind it. No.
Oh, it needs a bandage. We got shot. Don't go too far, my guys. If this works, by the way.
That is amazing.
Full convoy.
still
But
very
it is
risky.
creative though, like all
Yeah,
the way
I
on the
really
map
like
edge. And then you can protect it with the tanks that make it through. The 76 sees something because it's backing off.
They still have a long way to go though.
Strafing around to clear out this garrison from the commander.
The skill field.
Bombing around to clear out the point. They're going. I don't know if they saw it. Aladriel might see it. Like, he should for sure call. Yeah, he sees it. He should for sure call it out. No AT guys here. Is this a garrison? I guess it is. Yes, it is. Oh no, there's an AT.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, and then the next 9 minutes they brought like another airhead, another half track, and they fought until the end of the game inside the hard cap. So it was a pretty fun moment.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to see that game. Now I feel like I need to go back and watch that VOD, or at least watch the last 10 minutes or so.
At least towards the end, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty fun.
that's great. Yeah, that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, or maybe a lot of people realize, I don't know. But there are so many games to watch that it is impossible to watch every single game. And you can watch highlights and clips that get posted. So shout out to the people that post clips from matches. It's a great way to get little bits and pieces of the most exciting parts without having to, sit through an entire hour and a half VOD. So you people, you're good people. So, Kendrick, you have one more clip here. Looks like this is the line versus CoRe. This is the semifinal, if I remember correctly.
This was last week, yeah. This was
right.
last week. TL against CoRe, of course, in the semifinal. And this was on Hurtgen, and it was the 4th point for CoRe. It was 3-2 at this point. And this tank play here, he sends it just balls deep into the point and clears out the garrison, and it really allows them to cap the 4th point. And it was quite fun to see.
All right, let's take a look.
I'm still up.
Is that a Setchel? I think there's a Setchel, right?
Setchel
No.
is... Misses the
Oh,
garrison
yes!
again.
No! This is so tiring, come on!
Also, the Setchel didn't go on, so... He's turning around. Watch out for the trees.
Come on, man, come on, CoRe.
Take your time. There it goes.
Yeah, there he goes, yeah. One clean shot. Is it really
Yes,
not
you can see
Setchel?
CoRe in the background already, No, like it's not rushing Setchel. in at this point because they know the cap is theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one. CoRe, if anything, CoRe plays with confidence. They know when they're about to capture a point. And speaking with a lot of the teams who played against them, the common theme is they're the most disciplined team. They know exactly how to send people and where to send people when it's necessary, and they can do it faster than any other team. So kudos to CoRe. Yeah, that was a great game. Very much well-deserved win. Magic, let's go to you. This is a match that we casted. This is the Line versus STDB. I believe this was the second time they played SMDM. And what can you tell us about this clip?
I just picked this clip because it kind of reminded me of my days as a tanker in the seasonal. Just yeeting in, running some people over, and trying to make some plays. And also, there was a great meme made out of it after the match as well, with some Tokyo Drift theme song. It was really awesome. It made me laugh probably harder than any Hell Let Loose clip I've ever seen. So
Let's take a look. Shells coming in from multiple angles now. Here comes the Stewart. Dark Ninja's going to clear that no problem. Oh, and that does a 360. It's a Shell Kayakona. Here come a couple more rockets, though. Dark Ninja is going on an absolute tear. He's going to get the Garrison as well. No, he gets blown up before it can happen.
Can we watch that one again?
Can we watch it? We can absolutely watch that again.
Just a little turn at least. Just a little.
Absolutely.
I would
Shells
say it
coming
was
in
all
from
planned.
multiple angles now.
Yeah,
Here
the
comes
turn
Stewart.
is so
Dark Ninja's gonna
funny the
clear
way
that
he
no
dodges the
problem.
rocket by doing the
and that does a
360 on accident.
360.
And he misses the rocket.
It's a Shell Kayakona. Here come a couple
that
more
is-
rockets, though. Dark
Could
Ninja's
have
going
been
on an
better.
absolute
360
tear.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the
If only he got the Garrison, it would have really.
Yeah, that would have really sealed the deal. So, that was great. And we finish off our little review of clips today with Das Saltberg. This is Esprit de Corps versus 501 España.
Yes.
Tell us about this clip before we take a quick look.
You might have seen it already. It got shared a bit.
A bit, yeah, only 1,200 views, just a little bit. Yeah.
Just, just everyday stuff. It's a very long match between North America and Spain, and the Spaniards have been attacking the midpoint most of the game with a lot of flanking, very long flanks, like 2 sectors wide, 3 sectors. They have been running a lot. And then this happened. Right next, you can see the blue army there. There's a garrison from the enemy team up there.
All right.
That's just the backstory. Don't put it up. You can hear the army. Are you for real? Are you for? They all spawned right away.
Oh, that is
It's
fantastic.
short. That garrison survived 2 minutes with the enemies still spawning each time on that garrison.
Oh my.
Really? I did not know
It's-
that. Okay.
It's beautiful.
That is a beautiful clip. That's a
Oh.
beautiful play. The patience to sit there and let them pass, by the way, is just fantastic. That's great. So we do want to finish off today's little get-together, this little casters roundtable. Obviously, we're here to watch DC and CoRe play on Hill 400, and I'd like to get everyone's thoughts. Let's get some predictions. Who wins today's match? And bonus points if you get the actual score right, too. Kendrick, let's start with you. Who wins and with what score?
Well, as a DC player myself who's benched for the seasonal, I can't say otherwise that DC is winning, of course. But since CoRe is playing allies, I'm saying CoRe takes every mid cap, doesn't matter what. And then it is for DC to see if the Reds can find a little hole inside the defenses and see if they can win back the third point with the access advantage, of course, which they have. So yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen this game.
So you're thinking 3-2 CoRe? Is that the call?
No, 3-2 DC.
Oh,
They will
DC,
find
okay.
the hole. They will
all
find
right.
the hole.
All right. 3-2 DC. Altberg, let's move on to you.
DC is going to initially capture the point, then it's going to go around for a bit. Then CoRe is going to recapture the point, and then they're going to have some odd little fights in between for the rest of the time. And I think CoRe is sadly going to win 3-2. Because I would like to see DC win this. Like 5-0 30 minutes. It would be hilarious.
That
But
would be
I think
incredible.
it's going to be... That would be amazing. But I think it's going to be 3-2 CoRe.
I think I'm with you there. And in fact, in that exact same scenario, I think DC capped the first point. I think CoRe take it back, and they just hold the entire 90 minutes. I'm going 3-2 CoRe. Magic, let's go to you.
I'm going to go 3-2 CoRe as well. I think it's going to be a very grindy match. Definitely some opportunities for DC to win, but I think CoRe will pull it out just because they have the experience and kind of the, like you mentioned earlier, the patience and kind of being the most what was that word you used
Disciplined.
earlier? I can't remember. Disciplined. Yeah,
Yes.
I think the discipline will really help them, and I think that they're going to have a very hard time, and it's going to be a huge grind.
All right. Another vote for CoRe. City, let's go to you. What's the score and who takes it?
As much as I want DC to win, especially manning their first 49s
Right.
in a tournament, I think the Kings stay the king, man. CoRe 3-2.
Yep.
It's gonna be grindy, but I think CoRe they're the kings.
CoRe.
The
It's
top
Corvus
dog
Rex.
for
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing every time I talk to a team who is playing, and if I get a chance to speak to them before the match, I say, no matter who wins, we're just hoping for an exciting game. Give us some great plays, give us some meme moments, something to laugh at, something to enjoy. And that's all we can hope for as casters and viewers, just to put on a good show. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I hope you enjoy the match. I very much appreciate you joining us for this little round table. For those watching, stay tuned. We're going to take a very short break, and then we're going to be joined by two very special guests, and their names are Heidi and Jane. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Here they come. Here. They. Oh, fantastic.
Shells coming in from multiple angles now. Here comes the Stewart. Dark Ninja's going to clear that no problem. Oh, and that does a 360 to Shell Kayakona. Here come a couple more rockets, though. Dark Ninja's is going on an absolute tear. He's going to get the garrison as well. No, he gets blown up before it can happen.
Combat score is 0. Oh, yep, there we go.
Oh!
We've done it. They've taken out one of the troop transport. Everyone dead.
Spawn wave takes down the AT guy instantly. Both AT guys died.
Raptors are just surrounding them. A big spawn wave coming. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. It's 1v5 right now. Taking down 1. Taking down 2. 6-9, taking down 3, taking down 4.
I think he might get caught off guard. He's going to get 1 kill, actually. But will the tank crew be aware? Will they back up? Doesn't look like it. One's going to get out. That's out timer. He's going to go down. So lucky defending his satchel. Shanks is going to get out. Bensetsu's going to go out as well. Will they try to defuse? Will he catch them? He is. That tank crew completely eliminated. That's an empty tank.
Nesquik is pulling up. And Shifty making plays. Is he gonna go for the OPs? He's got 1. He gets on the garrison on Hugo's farm, and this might be it.
And this might be the moment where the point is going to fall. Big spawn wave coming in, could get blasted if we have artillery coming in. Like the Bob Ross of artillery. Blah, 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 blah. Oh.
Take me home.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is competitive Hell Let Loose in a nutshell.
Don't put it up! You can hear the army! Are you for real? Are you for...
That's going to be 1 rocket. Will they get the second? Oh, was that a team kill?
How is it made it across? This is like a bridge too far, if you recall. Oh, it's having a go at the Panther! It's having a go at the Panther! It's going to circle underneath him. He's got underneath the Panther. The Panther's missed. Oh, what a play this is!
The Recon Squad, too much sneaky, and I like that.
I will get in.
Ernest, idiot. That being said, I see some pain in his future in a moment.
Au nord, et la garnison qui a déjà été spotée. Et qui va peut-être être... Bah non, qui ne va pas être... Si. Non.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, that's lost. The Pole's got that one. Oh my goodness, gravy.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch, go. Get up, and then they got go Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up, get up.
Welcome back once again, everybody. We are getting ourselves ready for CoRe versus DC, and we are joined by two very special guests today. Magic and I are going to be talking to our friends Heidi and Jane, who you might know if you know a thing or two about seasonal. Jane and Heidi, welcome. How are you both doing today?
Hi. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, there you go. Hey,
yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, sorry, we're just sitting next to each other, so it's always difficult to know. Yeah. So that you wouldn't hear each other in the mic. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for having us. We're really grateful, and we're doing great. So thank you for asking. I hope you are too.
So far, so good. So far, so good. Heidi, how about you? How are you doing today?
Great, of course. My two American friends. It's great.
The only two, yeah. There's no
Yeah, of
no
course.
other friends in NA. No.
Except Mug Snapper, of course.
Right, yeah. Muck Snapper. Yeah, absolutely. Magic, how about you? How are you doing on this fine day? I know we just got done with a little chat with some of our other friends, but once again, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Always glad to be hanging out with Jane and Heidi.
Absolutely. Well, we're here to talk seasonal, here to talk both about some fun topics, talk about some of the maybe side that people don't see in seasonal. And let's get into that. So, Jane and Heidi, you both have actually played on competitive teams, not just this seasonal, but in previous ones. Heidi with WTH and Jane with ARC, who partnered with 126th, I believe, if I have that correct.
That's correct.
Jane, let's start with you. What was your seasonal experience like as a player?
Well, just to be clear, I stopped during the phase, in the sense that my last game with ARC was against Nirvana on Quarantine, so I think it was week 2. I decided to take a break for personal reasons, but it's been great. I mean, it's always a bit interesting, to see both sides of a season. Also, what you're preparing behind the scenes, and how does it roll out actually for the players. So I think it's a really nice experience, and but a lot of work.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would think so. Heidi, what about you? You played for WTH. I believe you did. Do you still command for WTH?
I did actually for the game. I went 1-0 record on loss, but I did for the last game we played. For us, it was kind of rough, I'd say. Like it's always what are your expectations going into a tournament, and obviously, like WTH expectations is to go further than quarterfinals, but arguably we had a rough route playing CoRe twice, but it's can only blame ourselves by choking a few games and stuff like that. So obviously a bit rough, but it's like you win some, you lose some, and I'm still happy that since the start of the seasonal, WTH has been consistently, if not at the top, at least near it. Here, I think it's like our lowest result probably, but only looking forward to coming for spring and place higher.
Yeah, I think
higher
we're all
being first.
Oh, of course. I mean,
because it's first or whatever. You lost. So
if you're not first, you're last. Absolutely.
Yes, basically.
No, Jane, I want to talk to you specifically about this next topic because I really, really appreciate the work you did for the casters this seasonal. For those who don't know, Jane helps manage the casting side of things, anything streaming related. She also provided us some very lovely graphics that we've been using all seasonal. Now, you provided these to all the streamers. How do you finalize an overall theme and color palette? How does that come about, and how do you make those final decisions?
Well, so we always try to remain close to the name of the tournament, which is seasonal. And so this is why we always have this nature-related designs. It's a bit strange in a video game competition, of course, but at the same time, it allows us some freedom in terms of design, because we can get into this kind of retro vibe a bit, which is, I believe, close to my personal style as well. So it makes things easier for me. And so, yeah, when a new season comes, what I try to do is to try to find elements that would be related to the part of the year that we're doing this in. And so I'm going to try to look for stock photographs, some brushes for Photoshop and Illustrator, and try to find color palettes that would go well with it. And then it's really intuitive. It's a really intuitive process. I will do the same for the fonts, for example, and then I will assemble it all together for all the designs we might need. But I have to say, my inspiration is, well, there's a lot of my own inspiration, but I also have people pressuring me into making some designs. For example, last year the pink was not my choice, but I'm glad we went with that.
I thought the pink was great for the spring season last year. That was fantastic.
It pulled great. Yeah, it pulled out great.
Great. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I always just like to get that insight on, how these things come about, particularly with people who are very creative and artistic in that sort of way. So that was something that, for me personally, I just really want to know. So thank you for that. Now I know.
Yeah, it's just really intuitive. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know Magic, you had a couple of questions as well. I think your questions were more so kind of like on the behind the scenes, administrative side. I'm really curious to talk about this as well. So I'll let you take over, Magic.
Yeah, so this one's for Heidi specifically. It's been a couple of years now since the seasonal's been out. What are some things that you've learned over this time? And kind of what's your reaction to how much the community has grown since that very first seasonal?
In terms of things learned, that's a bit hard to say. I have to think a bit. But clearly, like the biggest difference is the scope and like the scale of it, right? It's from, like I already talked about this from at the early stages, but coming from 8 teams, in 2020 fall to like the 34 that initially signed up here, like clearly that's the big difference, right? And that's also why a bunch of things we used to do, we've had to like incrementally add rulings, which are mostly all about structure, like for instance, all the player list rules, the game bans, the whatever. Like there is now pages and pages of rules, which are all simply tied to the tournament and how it's run itself, and not much about the game and how it's actually going on, but just about how to actually make people work together for the goal of having these nice games. And yeah, the hardest part is definitely, for instance, managing the different regions, making, European players play with Oceanic players, stuff like that. It's always so I'd say, like, personally learned a lot about time zones, learned a lot about, ping region, about, Steam accounts, about, all this stuff that is like
very exciting, by the way.
Yeah, not exciting at all, actually. But like that you have to kind of know and put in place so that the tournament goes on. Otherwise, like I think the community itself has gotten way more serious, and that's both a positive, I would say, and a negative in some ways. So it's a positive because people like the game's quality has gone up tremendously. People are also kind of way less trolly and doing random stuff, and like everyone is like playing seriously. But there is also that flip side of sometimes maybe it's too serious for a game with no prize money, no nothing. It's like there you go.
So, do you have any future plans for seasonals? I know you talked a little bit right there just about all the rules that have kind of been implemented. Do you have any plans for for new rules next season, maybe to address some of the concerns around artillery or some of the exploits?
Okay, so that's a touchy subject. Like some people probably, like most people probably know, but we had proposed at the initial first stage here this seasonal ruling about RT to limit it to one gun that couldn't be killed. It was voted out by the team reps at that point, and I think this seasonal has kind of shown maybe I think to a lot of people why we had proposed that ruling in the first place, is that this meta can be really boring and constricting gameplay. So I know you want to ask me next, but I kind of have to mention it now, which is the council part, right? So that's something that we are going to implement in between seasonals to potentially how to say this the best way, discuss for sure and potentially add rulings about the meta of the game itself. So nothing, like I mentioned previously, structural and stuff, all of that, is managed the same way. But for specific rulings in game, for instance, the 1RT rule, we will have this council, which is made of the team reps of the top 8 of the previous seasonal. So here it's, the top 8 of this seasonal. And until next edition, this will be like, a space where we can discuss, hopefully trial between these teams, potential changes that we want to make to the rule set. To ensure continuity, to not have to wait until all the teams are assembled to quickly vote something, for the first games, because we want, of course, a rule set that's consistent for the whole tournament. So that's the way we found to not take decisions just on our own, the org of seasonal, because, as always, and as I mention every time, it's a tournament made by and for the community, right? So finding a compromise between waiting for all the teams to be there to vote and just doing everything on our own, right? So we take the top 8 of this seasonal and we will discuss together, have some votes, like the structure is explained to these team reps about how to hopefully, make Hell Let Loose the most fun it can be, right? Yeah, and it's very complex subject. I'm not gonna get into all the pluses and the positives and the negatives of potentially adding that rule or other rules, but there is some stuff we can do. It's like at some point we have to accept that devs are not really how to say that without angering anyone. The devs are not going to follow what the comp scene wants, which is fine to an extent. And I think we now have the tools, especially with all the scripts and possibilities to configure servers, to disallow certain weapons, to do this and this and that, to actually create rule sets that are what we find is the most competitive possible, right? Way to play Hell Let Loose that isn't constricted by these factors.
I really like the idea of making it the top 8 teams, because it really does incentivize teams to really perform well, because now you get to make a difference in how the meta shifts in the seasonal. The top the top 8 teams have outperformed the remaining whatever 34 minus 8 teams are. So I think it really is the best of the best who can kind of help guide the game to a bit more of a competitive place. So
yeah, the point of doing that, of course, is we don't want to say, oh, the other teams have no voice, have no vote, right? Because all the votes that will be done during next edition will still be for all the teams, right? It's really just for that period in between seasonals for these meta adaptations. And yeah, we went for top 8 because it's probably indeed the best teams probably have the best idea of what is currently problematic or not, right?
Right.
If you know the game good enough to be the best, you probably know as well, what's currently a problem or not.
Right. Well, I think that's a great change. I think it will be welcomed by a lot of teams, and hopefully we get some really nice changes and maybe some balancing for this next edition.
Yeah.
So, Jane, I want to go to you now. Because as we mentioned, you do manage the streaming side of things. There's always some background and administrative things going on. So, how difficult is it to try to, please both, the casters who are, we work to stream the games and provide a viewing experience for people, but you're also trying to make the actual teams happy. One of the biggest topics that came up this season was the 30-minute delay. That was a very hot topic that was hotly debated, at least in the casters chat. How do you go about pleasing everybody, or is it even possible to please everybody?
Yeah, we actually lost quite a bit of casters, unfortunately, to that 30 minutes delay, and I'm really sad about that. But, I wouldn't say that it was that difficult this season. Actually, I think it's been the easiest one to manage so far, and I'm extremely grateful to everyone for that. And I think it's because of several things. First of all, at the end of every season, what we do is that we collect feedback from the casters. I always send them a form trying to find out how well did they appreciate the experience, like how well was it for them, and most importantly, what do they think could be improved. And that's why, for example, this season I provided designs for in-game layouts because people actually asked for them. So, and I think it allows the communication to flow more naturally. As for the collaboration between the team reps and the casters, like trying to find a way to make everyone happy, of course, they don't have the same priorities.
Right.
Team reps will focus on making sure that no information leaks from the streaming, for example. They will want to see representation. They want a caster that speak the main language of the team. And the streamers, they will want to provide the best experience possible for their audience. And, there's no point that is less important than the other. But I do believe that we managed to balance this very well this year because people were very open to talk about it. We spent a lot of time in those chats together to try to understand the side of everyone. And honestly, we came to conclusions every time very easily. And I'm really grateful for that.
I agree. I think you managed that very beautifully. I think the open communication. I think people were very kind to each other for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was just a good conversation. Obviously, not everyone is going to get what they want. As you said, some casters, maybe were not able to stream with this 30-minute delay. But I think the bigger point is that the communication is there between different parts of the seasonal. We have players, we have reps, we have casters, administrative people, and I think right now things are in a very good place. So thank you for that. I think I would like to speak for the casters and say that we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It's really easy to work with you, and it's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask you a bit more of a spicier question. What are the differences between EUHLL and NAHLL, if there are any? Because NA seems to get memed in a lot of competitive games. I don't know if that's the case for Hell Let Loose. Do you think that's the case?
I mean, gameplay-wise, I don't think that there are differences. I mean, in the sense that, of course, you could observe some techniques that would be more generally employed by NA over EU, for example, but it's not solely how to say, it's not only them that would do it. You would find them in other teams throughout the different continents. So I wouldn't say that there are so many differences between the different teams. No.
She's treading very carefully, Magic. She's treading very carefully.
If I can say one thing is
Yes.
that the main difference for me is that in NA everyone speaks the same language, right? And in EU you have a lot of people who don't necessarily speak English very well, who play together on the same server, right? And that creates a thing where I think any teams, have kind of an advantage on that side, on like the macro side, communication side, organization side, like, handling people in a different way that know what they're doing, in their specific role or whatever. But maybe the fact that, in EU, some people can't rely on communication means like maybe that individual level can maybe be a bit higher, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would say is the main difference, and then it has different impacts, right? The fact that you don't necessarily you can't necessarily speak with your teammates in EU.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that because your your point relies on the IT.
Except no, of course, in international EU teams, of course, like
Yeah,
Norway,
that's
of
the
course.
thing. That's the thing. And you know, in NA teams, for example, of course, the main language is English, but you also have a lot of people that are speaking Spanish as a first language, for example.
Claro que sí.
And
Yeah, okay.
and that's the thing. Like they
Oh.
have to speak in their second language, but in EU, when you have a main English-speaking team, that means that if you don't necessarily speak English very well, you need to find ways to carry your message much in a much more effective way. So maybe the communication will be shorter, which can play a big advantage in LFUs.
Yeah, I've heard comms from first-person POVs from some competitive matches. I don't know how you players hear anything. It's all just comms. And I know that that discipline is really hard for teams to nail down, but I could never do it. It's just too much talking.
Headaches.
Yeah.
I think that's just a skill in Hell Let Loose in general, is learning to sort through the noise and only focus on the important things, and being able to remain calm when things are getting hectic. And I know that's a big thing with teams is that I've been on, at least, is sometimes things get really out of control and people just start losing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
and then
as
you choke and then you lose.
Yes, yes, yeah, that has happened.
Wouldn't happen to me. Yeah.
No, never. No, WTH has never lost a game, actually.
Nope,
so,
never.
Yeah. So I do actually. I am going to start wrapping it up just for time purposes, but we had the same question with our fellow casters that Magic and I sat with just a few minutes ago. We're obviously here to watch CoRe and DC play on Hill 400. There's the grand final. Both teams currently undefeated. DC 9-0, I believe, and CoRe 5-0. Can we get some predictions for today's match, both the winner and the score, if possible? Bonus points for the score. Heidi, let's start with you.
Well, the score I can tell you is going to be 3-2 or 2-3. That's that I can give that prediction. Who's going to win is really hard to say, honestly. Like on paper, CoRe should win,
right?
Just in terms of like experience, veterancy, the like mostly that. But DC are like quite on a hot streak, and like I can very much see them win as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a very safe.
I'll go
answer.
with DC. I'll go with DC.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jane, what about you? What is your prediction for today?
Well, like Heidi said, it's going to be very tight, but my intuition tells me that it's going to be a 3-2 for DC because they've been very strong in the past, but they've been surprisingly even better recently. And I don't know, I feel like they might be surprising us tonight. So yeah.
If Clippy doesn't rocket his own airhead, they're gonna win.
If Clippy rockets his own airhead and we catch it on stream, I will personally donate, I don't know, like some money to a charity or something, because that would be amazing. So, well, Heidi and Jane, thank you so much for joining Magic and I today. We're going to get ourselves prepared for the match. But before we do, for those watching at home, we're going to watch a little storytelling video of each team and kind of the journey of how they got to today's match. It's the road to the grand final. Jane, Heidi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you do for the seasonal. I know we, the viewers, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So
thank you, guys.
Have a great day. Stick around.
Enjoy the finals, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Telling
Okay, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. We're here to talk about the road to the grand final. How did you get here? What's coming up? I want to welcome Quicknix, Soul Raver, and Mike Lowry. How are you all doing this evening?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
I'm fine.
Fantastic. Let's talk about Remagen. This was week 1, DC versus Glow, 13 and Void. Tell me about your thoughts for the game. Number 1, how the f*** did you get Remagen as this pick? Was this intentional? Was this a meme?
Ninja Pulver.
I think Glow Legion Void figured that we were the stronger team, and they were hoping to get the point on their side and just get a lucky.
I just remember going into it that, we kind of led it to Remagen. And to be honest, our strategy with Remagen was to just hope we get the point on our side. We thought that was our best chance, rather than playing them on a more conventional map. I don't think we expected to get all of their trucks and 2 tanks in the first minute after the curtain dropped.
What? Whoa. Did that Greyhound just now? Oh, beautiful.
I didn't even have the pleasure of playing this game. I wasn't even in DC at this point, so this was a great watch.
Look, the bridge is now again completely in the hands of DC.
This was I watched this game the day before I joined DC, and I remember going, okay, I think I'll join DC.
And the other tower has also fallen. Both towers have fallen.
Well, let's talk about week 2. DC versus FOC, a Chinese team. This was an SMDM game. And once again, you got a 5-0 victory in about 70 minutes. Tell me about your experience versus FOC this game. How are they as an opponent?
They were, they were decent for a first stage team for sure. In game, I had fun against them. Mike and I were meat grinding in the middle, and it was Mike.
I think they were kind of slower, more defensively.
They held us for almost an hour on the 4th point though.
Oh, that OP's still up. Check that out. Like, probably get some more guys spawning in here, getting in. And here they come. So Thorpe, though, looking like he's answering that push. Pretty much nukes the entire squad.
They were definitely a strong team, but I think, they were only defensive. They didn't ever. I think the only problem was we were more frustrated we weren't winning quicker, as in it wasn't the case that we felt that we were going to lose that game, if that makes sense.
Oh, man. He can nuke this. Looks. Oh, I missed. No, that's the bats get in before he kills him. Oh. Insane.
So that sent you to the second stage. Week 1 took you to Carentan to take on Chimera, Australian team. I think for a lot of people it was one of the more anticipated games of the second stage.
Having a recon tank here as well, rockets flying. These boys know how to play the game. And at the moment, this is gonna go to DC just from the map control right now, just from the points they have spread out. They're just standing down there on that side. They're also in the north. These boys have been smart. They have spread out all the way.
But yeah, definitely props to Chimera. They played well.
I hope to see them back next seasonal. They were a fun team to play against, and I was also getting hyped for them at points, seeing them how far they were going. I was kind of cheering them on when I was watching them. Like, yeah, these guys deserve to go far.
DC is just pouring in. They cleared the 2 defenders in the hard point, and now everybody is pouring in.
Yeah, so that was actually the first time that we'd ever been 5-0'd, and to this date, the hardest game we've ever played. Like the learning experience we got from it was huge, and the way they use their infantry and artillery together, especially, was really rough. And just trying to clear them out completely, you have to be so thorough, because Rat is the perfect name. That team, that is exactly what they are. They're sneaky little rats.
Spawning in, big spawn wave, giant spawn wave, but they're not making it really far. And now that spawn might be the grave. They're still losing the point because they're still not on the actual hard point. It's only so close, but now... Oh god, can they? Yeah, they can climb, okay. They can climb, but it's slowing them down! Another satchel blasts them, and the whole spawn wave got killed. This might be the end for our friends from Chimera here.
So let's talk about Gary's OnlyFans. Week 2 of the second stage. The map is Utah Beach, and you took out this team in 53 minutes.
We had an OP right in front of Chapel, west of Chapel, across the road in this trench, and it was getting shelled to bits by Artie, and we just kept spawning on it, and at some point we just survived.
Soul Raver looking like, is that another satchel that we're seeing? DC making great use of the satchels. Mike Laurie's just going to go in there himself anyway, though. Just clear the infantry. No need for the satchel.
I remember first that we gave up server and access, and I was like, never again. We weren't obviously at the level we're at now. I think a lot of teams in seasonal, like TO last seasonal, they'll pick up a lot of momentum like very, very quickly when people start showing up. Yeah, we were underdeveloped, and it happened fast. So yeah, they kicked our ass pretty bad.
But let's pull out for a little bit. It's all blue. This is it for Goff, unfortunately. Well, that meat grind brought you through the second stage and onto the main stage. And your first game was against another Chinese team, Nirvana, on Stalingrad.
Stalingrad, yeah, that was before Soviets had a light tank and bazookas and everything, so they had AT rifle still. So it was just gun-wise, they were already outclassed.
This gives us a lot more power to like the Lux. Like Merrick and Clippy popped off this game with a 2-man Lux.
That Garrison is getting touched. Clippy and Merrick again here. The nightmare off the front for the Soviets here, drifting around like the maniacs they are. Turning, and takes down the Garrison. And again, that little looks that cooks good birds.
I think that us and CoRe, maybe 116, maybe WTH, but mainly the way we played it is we will play any map in the game. We'll play anything. We'll play you on anything, and we'll prep. And even if we get Russians, we'll prep with a mentality that we're going to win.
From there, it really was some of the bigger teams in the tournament. Your next game was against 116, the Greyhounds, on Foy Night.
DC already having control of that house, whereas Greyhounds, they're struggling to get past these trees right here, especially with that Luke's.
Our tanks played incredibly this game. They were so good.
But immediately starts to get shot at by the other tank. So it's a Panther versus 76. The Panther might win this one. Let's see. Oh, there's a deflect from the Panther as the other 76 starts to try to help this 76. We've got a tank battle going on right here. AT is coming out right now, and the 76 goes down.
With that, you needed just one more win to move on to the playoffs, and that brought you to Saint Marie du Mont, DC versus the Line.
TL is very good at defending. They hold their ground. They rely a lot on their tanks, and they have good tankers. I'm not gonna lie.
And someone pulled out like a cringe counter Artie snipes. That was
Oh,
bullshit.
the radar snipe, yeah.
Oh no, that was another thing. No, I meant like
You meant your
yeah, Tigers had a snipe to shoot our artillery. Well, in the words of Magic Jokic, desperate times call for desperate measures.
I found the RD snipe.
From the Line?
Yeah.
What are you looking at here? What sector?
It's in their west HQ, C1. It's Tigers and a medium tank. He's eating this thing across the map.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
DC was a fantastic opponent that really we just went toe-to-toe with all the way across the line. They just came out on top. Great shooters, good team play.
So that is going to be a GG with just 5 seconds left. There's the countdown. 3, 2, and 1. Congratulations to DC for securing the win and securing their spot in the playoffs. DC is now 7-0.
It's not
Rocket
really
coming
exposed
in.
here to both Stewart and Greyhound, though. Trying to stay alive, do what you can.
This medium should take down the... Oh, that's a non-pen shot. Yeah, there it goes. I think it was the medium.
We cocked up a lot. We made a lot of mistakes. I think a lot of us can admit it was not our finest game. Obviously, we almost lost the game, and then our tankers did what our tankers do best, and went full Chad.
Exactly. We do see a medium Sherman, I believe that is. Yes, we do see a medium Sherman pushing in
Or trying to get up.
The Jumbo 1 point got satcheled. It's down.
Jumbo 1 point goes down.
Yeah.
This will be a DC bombing run coming in on that trench line.
Clearing out the point.
Yeah,
Reinforced already down.
Are we about to see the point flip?
I think this will flip. All contested. Defending. But no, but the reinforced, it doesn't last long anymore. The tanks are pushing in now though. 1 man in the lux and 2 men in the medium.
5 seconds left. Before is no longer possible to cap.
1, 0, and that's it.
S3 has not started capping.
ESPT against DC was
DC
an amazing match.
ultimately wins.
Yes.
It was a very close match.
I think in general, both teams played really well.
Yeah.
It's just at one point, it was the mid cap was... So 1-6 cap first, right? They were allies, so you naturally kind of cap first, especially if we do our opener like we did. That was like, horrible.
Yeah, this might in moment fall in the hands of the Greyhounds. Then again, I see a lot of blue here. That is the flip. Or rather, the capture for the grounds. Greyhounds already capturing the mid-grounds here. They had lost some people here at the very start. Also had their trucks blown out. Oh! And I see Eastern Slope is getting pushed already. With the Hounds coming from the north here.
We struggled the first 20 minutes. On our second point, the fourth point, they kind of got there really fast. They prepped, obviously they prepped for it, so as soon as they kept mid, they want to contest the fourth.
Paramax defending the area here, defending the OP. Defends the OP beautifully. Now, does he notice Wabi there on the side? That's the question. Yeah, he saw him, and Wabi runs into the fire there.
As we said in the end, they overcommitted on hill, maybe tried to get to Eastern Slope, kind of wide flanked, and then we
that's
took advantage of that, yeah.
7 seconds, 6. Frontline charging in the last moments, 2 seconds, 1. And that is the end of that 2 minutes to capture the hard point, still getting captured at the moment. That is a victory towards the Reds. The Reds of the T.
So over 11 hours of gameplay in competitive Hell Let Loose this seasonal, 9 wins in a row, 5 wins that ended up being 5-0, and now here playing CoRe in the grand final. Mr. Zoom, hello. How's it going today?
I'm fine, and you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for joining me today. Now, your first game was against 501 España. This was a Spanish team. What can you tell me about that game and about 501?
I think it's not like we prepared a lot, but still we wanted to make a statement.
That's going to give CoRe the 3-2 score. We can see they have a healthy front line going on. You know, expect these guys to push, start trying to claim the front of the capture zone, just to deny 501 ES any kind of foothold to counterattack this point.
For this season, I think there was like too much of a gap between the competitive level we were playing.
And that's looking like GG. Holy smokes.
I think we put quite some effort in this game because it's against Mug, and I like Mug, but there's also like Bender between us, and I wanted 5-0, you know?
Now we have 2 Jumbos stacking up the south side here, or really inching their way in. And Goff just lost another Panther to the double 76 stack.
What I always compliment them on the most is their min-max. Min-max being the way that they distribute their guys with discipline, and that's the difference, right? Like quickly.
Less than 1 minute until CoRe takes this home. Oh, and that satchel clears out the point, and Goff starts defending the point. And CoRe's got it. They got their tank coming in to help secure the strong point as well, and CoRe is going to take this 5-0.
Now let's talk about week 3. This is CoRe versus WTH.
You know, WTH, we never... I mean, we beat them in a friendly, but not in any tournament yet. So I think it's a team that can beat us anytime, and we knew that they will get first cap.
And that initial capture is gonna go to WTH. 5 minutes, 50-ish seconds.
We kept midpoint first as allies, and then they just kept up pressure quite nicely. You know it's gonna be a tough game. I think the last 4 or 5 times we faced them, it's been like 2-3 or 3-2.
2 tanks from CoRe push in heavily. That might be a big problem for WTH here. That push power is gonna be hard to handle unless they can blast these tanks, and I don't think they have the people there in the area.
I don't know, I think we played very well. I think they played very well. I think WH had some problems with the tanks, but they are such an amazing team and it was a very good fight.
And the big push has died completely. The tank, the last one's still alive, not able to push in the point, and they just breached from the direct point there. Everything a bit too slow, everything a bit not on time there.
And then you face WTH once again, this time on St. Mariglis.
It kind of just made me afraid that we had to play WDH again. I was quite in panic that we will drop out at this early stage. It also made me kind of feel bad that our team or WDH will drop out, because I think it's probably the second best team right now in the world.
I'm just gonna open this up and down all the time. Oh, it was a miss against the Harald down there. Now I see some corpses. I think I see some corpses down there. Oh God! I think that. Oh God! Everybody except the Harald died.
So again, it was quite a tough fight for midpoint. I think they did really well.
In the last 10 or 15 minutes, I took advantage that WDH had to push, got in the hard cap, placed an OP, so they had to pull everything. Basically, it was cheat. There wasn't any time left to get another push or something.
I mean, I see a lot of blue compared before. Now, yeah, CoRe has decided that this is enough, and now they have spawned with everybody.
CoRe versus the line, Hurtgen Forest. This was one that I think a lot of people midpoint expected the line to perform better than they did.
The artillery is really working on them, not trying to let them over the bridge.
Taco is also on the other side now with the OP. But there's a Grey oncoming here for CoRe. Taco died. I don't know if he did get his OP up. Probably not. Nope. So that's unlucky for him. Spreading out, and you can see CoRe really prepared as well. Already crossed the river here.
We kind of showed that it's possible to win as Hurtgen on Hurtgen Forest as allies.
Playing CoRe is always an experience beyond just being fantastic players and every aspect of the game to be had. They really punish you on any weakness you have. They're great at shifting forces around and playing min-max.
Still, there's a CoRe squad inside the hard cap.
And there's more coming.
Also, I think we could have get that 5-0. We got very close, but we didn't committed enough into it, because I really wanted that 5-0, not like to shit talk DL or something, but just because I didn't want to stick in the forest anymore, because it's so in favor for anyone who's just camping.
It doesn't look good for TL because CoRe is coming from every direction. Like, they're inside, but now they're in the stronghold and
No, I think it's too late. It's probably over.
Not enough time.
Yeah, no time left. Ah, that's so unlucky. That's a good push though for TL.
It's CoRe still. They're not unbeatable, not at all. It's gonna be very tough.
I think we are quite motivated. We are already preparing a lot. I'm quite sure we will get the mid-cap, but after that we will see.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a very tough match. I hope for a very good grind for middle for 90 minutes.
We fought TC in a friendly recently. Now we have like the full TC artillery power, which is very nasty.
Even though we're Axis on the hill, like with all the advantages you have to play around those and be able to play around those, and CoRe is really good to deny that.
Anything is possible.
And we are back once again. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out during our little pre-show presentation. It is just about time for the grand final. We are joined by our co-caster. This is Magic Jokic. Hello again, Magic. How you doing?
Hello, Anthony. Thanks for having me here. It's always fun to cast a final with you.
Yeah, no, the last final we casted together was the Lion versus CoRe. And we're back to watch CoRe once again. This time they're taking on DC on Hill 400. And it should be match start in just about 5 minutes or so. We have some time to wait for DC to get here. Do want to take a moment to say thank you so much for everybody who did stay during our pre-show, everyone who voted in our prediction. We'll be sure to get the channel points to the winners as we find out the result of today's match. You can see here in a moment, hopefully you can see here, there it is, there's our game. We are in Hill 400. Obviously, this is the third week in a row that DC has played Hill. They played the quarterfinal and the semifinal on Hill 400, and they're back again here to play against CoRe. So we are going to be casting the DC side. There is a German cast going on as well. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because I'm just going to say it really disrespectfully, so I apologize. But check out the seasonal Discord. There will be a link to the German cast as well. So please check it out. Make sure you get the CoRe POV as well. So, Magic, there are 3 points here on Hill 400. I believe it is Southern Edge, Hill 400, and Flak Pits, right? Those are the 3 possible midpoints. Yeah. So, I think the most common point that I've seen is Flak Pits here, as the middle starting point. I've seen a couple of Hill 400s, and I think one team that I spoke to earlier said that there's 1 or 2 matches on Southern Edge, maybe an ESPT game or something. I don't fully remember, but I feel like I haven't seen Southern Edge this season. Well, at least I haven't watched one.
I personally have never seen Southern Edge ever. I've always seen Flak Pits and Hill 400. I think Flak Pits is kind of the most interesting point. That's my favorite one, followed by Hill 400, and then Southern Edge is kind of my third. I'm kind of glad to not have watched matches on it.
Yeah, Flak Pits, I would agree, is the most interesting. At least you're going to have people fighting on the hill, but they're obviously going to make their way down. And I think control of the hill, as we've seen many times, is really it's what's going to help you keep that midpoint if you take it. Now, CoRe was very confident that they are going to cap the point first. And they said no matter what the point is, they're confident that CoRe as allies will cap first. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, they're very confident about that. DC did agree that they think CoRe will likely cap first, but they're pretty confident that they can get the retake. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and I think that confidence is mostly based on that the allies have easier and faster routes to all the middle points than the Germans do. The Germans have more turns, and it's definitely way more annoying to get up there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are in game. We're going to have our in-game scoreboard up and running. As we said, there is a streamer for the CoRe side of things, so we won't be able to show you the dual map POVs this stream, unfortunately, but we're going to do our best to keep an eye out for a lot of the CoRe garrisons, to keep an eye out for armor as well, and we're going to do a little more flying around the map looking for things. So just keep that in mind. If this game did play as it is right now, it would be a Flak Pits midpoint. But as we said, only time will tell. DC is not yet in the server. The game is supposed to start in a minute, so I would assume they're going to be perhaps fashionably late here. But we're going to hang out until that time comes. I do believe that after the seasonal ends here, HCA should be starting up in about a week or two. So that should be exciting. It's the second half of the HCA, and I need to refresh myself on the standings because I know there's, the major league, the minor leagues. There's a lot going on in the HCA. So yeah, I'll be curious to catch some of the games. I think I'll be helping out more in the background, possibly more so than doing some casting and playing. Obviously, I don't play competitively, but it should be a good time. So, and I'm very excited to wrap up the seasonal as well. I think after 14 weekends of games. It's been great. We've seen a lot of great matches, a lot of great moments, and I'm glad that we got to look back today on some of the more fun times that have happened this seasonal. I think it was also great that we got to or we were introduced to some new teams. We had Chimera make their debut in the seasonal. They did fantastic. Chimera was absolutely my favorite team to watch the entire seasonal. So I was very glad to see them get as far as they did, and I do hope that they continue to go far next time we see them. So, and they did confirm they'll be back.
Yeah, I really just like the Australian players in general. They're some of the nicest guys in the community, and they're always a joy to talk to, and they're always so friendly, even when you beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I think Knoppers is one of my favorite casters as well. I just love Australian accents, and so seeing like an esports cast in an Australian accent it's really great. So, so shout out to Knoppers.
Who was kind of your biggest winner and loser of this seasonal, Anthony?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think biggest loser. I don't mean loser in the way of like, oh, you are a loser. I mean it was just a shame that they lost. It's WTH. I think they got the short end of the stick when it comes to their matchups. Playing CoRe 2 weeks in a row, and the second time being the quarterfinal elimination game. That's so tough. That's a tough battle. CoRe even said, I talked to Zoom in an interview a few minutes ago, and he said that, it was a shame that they had to play in the quarterfinal. He would have liked to play them in the final instead. And it sucks that, they had to end their journey so early. Biggest winner, that's a tough one. It's gotta be either Chimera or Gary's OnlyFans, surprisingly, because Goff took me by surprise. Based on their performance in HCA, I didn't really see them going very far. I believe they started in second stage, if my memory serves correct. I may be wrong. But the fact that they made it as far as they did, they played, pretty well in some of the games that they did manage to play. It was a pleasant surprise. So shout out to Goff. I think they exceeded expectations for the most part. But Magic, since this is your question, I'll flip it back on you. Who's the biggest winner and loser?
I'd probably go with Goff for biggest winner as well, just because, like you said, the expectations weren't kind of playoffs for them. That this was their first season without an alliance, and so I kind of thought they were just going to give it their best shot. But they did really well. They made it into the playoffs, and they beat some tough teams on some tough maps.
Yep.
And for biggest, I guess I shouldn't have said loser. Biggest disappointment.
Right.
I think you got to be looking at Esprit de CoRe. They've taken another step backwards, in another seasonal, and I think that's probably starting to alarm some of them. They had pretty high hopes for a while, and it just seems like the last two seasonals they've taken another step back. I think they'll bounce back in the spring edition.
Right.
But I do think they need to start taking a look at, maybe some of the stuff they're doing and try and work something out.
Yeah, I definitely think they were maybe outshined a little bit by the other two NA teams, the Lion and Goff. I think there's definitely opportunity for them to improve and you kind of bounce back. Didn't happen for them this seasonal, but I will say that the Lion was another team that they made it so close to getting to the final again. And I wouldn't call them, their experience a disappointment, but I think they were really, really hoping to beat CoRe and get into this final against DC, and it didn't quite happen for them as well. Obviously, Magic, you and I are probably a little bit more familiar with some of the NA teams' experiences since we are North American, not players, but, we are from North America. So I'd be curious to know a little bit more about some of the EU teams and kind of what went on there. But at least for, my personal experience, I think the North American side was really shaken up this season.
Yeah, and I have to kind of reiterate what you said too about WTH's season being disappointing.
Right.
As a WTH member, I don't play anymore, but I always like to see them do well, and I was definitely a little bummed that they didn't go further.
Yeah, I think that's just another team that you kind of just expect to go far, and again, just luck of the draw, or not even luck of the draw, just their seeding and the way the matchups panned out. They ended up playing CoRe right off the bat, and CoRe is going to do what CoRe does, and CoRe wins games, and they unfortunately knocked them out in the quarterfinal. But still, very exciting game to watch. I did actually catch that VOD when I was doing some prep for today's stream, and it really was a great game. They played well. I think CoRe's tanks probably outplayed them a little bit. And that was one thing that CoRe kind of reiterated as well when I spoke to Zoom. So,
and I think it kind of shows just how tough this upper tier of competition is gotten. When I talked to Heidi about how the community has grown, the comp community has gotten bigger, but so has like the amount of teams that are playing really well. And so this kind of upper tier of good teams is so much bigger now, and there's so many teams that can kind of beat you on any given map. It kind of just depends on the roll of the dice, and we see it happen all the time.
Yeah, and I always find it interesting how important the map bans are. Some teams will disagree with this, but the fact that teams put so much effort into like the actual map picks, just because obviously the game is not balanced, so it's important to make sure you get a map inside that's going to be favorable for you. In this case, it's just going to be just play allies on every map, unless it's hill. But the amount of strategy that goes into something even like that, I feel like we can cast a map ban if a team allowed us to do so, because it's just that interesting. I couldn't do it because I don't know enough about the maps and the advantages to each side and point, but I think a really experienced team could probably cast it and make it interesting.
Yeah, I think it's honestly the most important part of winning a match. Obviously, there's a lot of other factors into, like preparation and skill and whatnot.
Right.
And teams can overcome the map problems using those two things I just mentioned.
Right.
But I think when you have two really balanced teams that are both kind of in the upper echelon of skill and preparation and tactics, it's really comes down to what point you get on what map, because that can really just change the whole situation from being, detrimental or beneficial to your team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And some teams, like we said, will still be confident. They won't care. CoRe seems to be one of those teams that just doesn't care, and DC has agreed as well. In my interviews with them, we talked about their map on their match on Stalingrad versus, I believe it was Nirvana. And they said, hey, what, Stalingrad, no problem. We're going to prep like we're going to win anyway. They'll play any map, any side. But that's why these two teams are in the final, because they have the experience and the skill to do that. For 90% of the other teams, it's pretty important to make sure you get the right side and the right map. So that being said, it is time to take a look at Hill 400, as I think someone just someone just had a flamethrower, but the map is going to flip. It is time for the grand final, DC versus Corvus Rex for the fall seasonal 2022. 14 weeks of gameplay. And we found a really interesting stat that DC has played over 11 hours of in-game time this seasonal. CoRe has played over 5 hours. These teams are experienced. These teams are skilled. These teams know what they're doing. And now it's time to find one winner. So here we go. We'll take a look at the midpoint here. Maybe we finally do get that southern edge, middle point. We don't know. We'll have to find out here. It looks like it's going to be. It is Hill 400. All right. Well, let's get ourselves into a squad here then. We're going to be joining an artillery squad. I believe we're going to be joining Wakanda squad, who is named number 1 Artie. All right, and we are in. Let's get ourselves in game there. As we fumble with our keys, we'll get there. All right, so let's do it. It is 2-2. Currently, teams are going to be warming up now. So Hill 400 as the midpoint. We're going to have DC as the axis, CoRe as allies. As we take a look at our map, it looks like DC are going to be defending Eastern Slope and Zirkel, while CoRe are going to be defending Kirchweg and Junction as well. Magic, what's your initial thoughts here on this map layout for DC?
So I definitely think this favors CoRe to capture off initial, but I think it favors DC in the long run for taking Hill 400 to win the game. Eastern Slope is a lot closer to Hill 400 than Kirchweg is. It's about half, I would say, the distance, and so it's not going to be guarantee a win for them, but it's definitely going to allow them to put more attackers or defenders on attack. Sorry.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I think CoRe will kind of be doing the same thing because Kirschwig's not a bad point either, but it's definitely not as close as it could have been, at least in terms of right behind the point.
Right. So now that, we both predicted a 3-2 victory for CoRe, do you think the map layout changes your opinion, or do you think CoRe still might be able to hold on? I think
it's
CoRe
good.
might hold
Sorry,
on.
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think CoRe might hold on still. I don't know. They seem very confident about this. We'll see how it plays out, but I think I'm going to stick with my 3-2 CoRe.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 3-2 DC just to be a contrarian, but I do think this is gonna kind of play out just the way I predicted. CoRe will take it first. It's gonna be a huge grind, but there are going to be opportunities for DC to win. I don't think this is going to be a CoRe domination by any means.
Yeah, no, let alone a 5-0. I don't even think we see a 4-1. I think it stays 3-2. Maybe a flip back and forth, but definitely going to be a 3-2. I would be very surprised if it's not.
You just don't see when two good teams come up like this, a 4-1 or a 5-0 very often, unless you just break their spirit and they just give up.
Yeah, yeah, which can happen. After 90 minutes, it does kind of become a bit of a mental game as well. All right, so we are off. You got trucks coming into Hill 400. We're going to take a look at the DC side of things as they make their way up. They are going to come out from the southern side of the map here, on the southern edge, one might say. Seeing some rockets now come out. Arty shells are landing. And I'm sure we're going to see some teams set up their defenses on eastern slope right off the bat as well. We'll get closer and closer to the hill. CoRe, again, with the initial cap weight right now. We're going to take a look at this from the southern POV. Players are now getting out of their trucks here, as it is well known. The ally side will get to the point first. And they are here. CoRe going to send quite a large number of players here to the northern side of Hill. Arty is coming down. Now it's going to be a Greyhound on the hard cap for CoRe.
Well, and this CoRe squad pushed up really hard. They're not even going for the point. They're just going for the southern and southeast edge of the point.
Yeah, no, CoRe is playing very aggressive here. Not quite paying off for them yet, at least as far as infantry trades. But CoRe with 50% cap progress already. There is a Puma on the point now. The Puma and the Greyhound are actually right next to each other on the hard cap. There's actually two Greyhounds on the point for CoRe. That Puma's going to go down. The Lux is on the point now as well. Northern side, still plenty of players from CoRe. But Lux is going to start stalling the point as well. Lux is going to start moving forward now too. And CoRe obviously looking dominant right now, having control of the hard cap. We'll take a pan over to the north. A couple of DC squads there. The second Lux is actually trying to take care of the infantry on the north. And look at the amount of armor on the point. That is going to be a 3-2 cap for CoRe. But this is absolutely an armor battle on the point. Here comes the Greyhound now taking on that Lux. We'll pan back out here. That Lux is going to go down. One more Lux on the point. The medium tank is rolling up now, though. Should be able to take care of that Greyhound. I think this medium should be able... Oh, no, they're going to hop out to repair here. Let's take a look at the southern edge now. And see how that's playing out. Still lots of infantry in the area. And looks like team's just looking to find the infantry right now. But CoRe still with the heavy armor dominance on the midpoint. and pan over to the north side now. In fact, before we do that, let's take a look at our map. Take a look at this garrison setup. DC with the line of garrisons all along the blue edge there. We are seeing a recon tank start to drive up that northern edge as well. Some flares going up. Plenty of OPs on the east side of Hill 400. I want to see if we can take a look at the core side of things. At least fly over and see if we can find some of those spawns.
And I think DC are kind of just playing the long game right now, which they knew they would have to do, especially if they got this point. They're just kind of trying to jockey for some better position on the north and the south side while grinding out that main flank right in front of the point.
Yeah, and right now here, north of the point at least, it's going to start to get a little bit close quarters. We'll take a look at Antrox, as he should find Mike Lowry here, the bottom of the hill. Oh, but Mike Lowry's going to shoot first, though. He does get the kill. Soul Raver not going to spot Medini as he runs down the hill. Going to chuck a nade over here at, that's nice, just right up the hill by the logs. Soul Raver and Mike Lowry fighting together right now in this literal uphill battle. Mike Lowry is going to go down. Let's check in back with the armor coming up the hill. I think we're going to start to see some of these heavy tanks come in. Let's take a look at the tank crews. This is going to be Phoenix, Thug Snapper, and Mono in the P4. So no heavy tanks just yet. Still a Lux and a medium. That Lux is going to take a shell on the side. And that Lux is going to get taken down by the Stewart, which is still on the point. And now the Stewart's taking on the Panzer IV. P4 is going to fire back. The 75 is going to try to creep into play here. That's going to be Gold Dragon, Holzbeer, and Dr. Durst. I can't see the rest of that name there. But
it looks like they have a tank simp as well.
They do.
On the back of their tank.
Yeah, it's going to be Nero on the back of the tank, and maybe it paid off. Because that's 2 tanks down for DC CoRe, showing dominance with their armor early in the game. CoRe still holding on to that 3-2 lead for now. Over to the south. Let's follow Thorpe and Elwahir, as Elwahir does get a kill. Ellipse and Thorpe may spot each other here. Thorpe's going to spot him first, take a couple of shots. Not going to hit just yet. It's going to be a 1v2. The Godsend is going to drop Thorpe. Is that the Godsend magic that I'm thinking of? No, different Godsend. Okay. So, a couple of CoRe players on this southern part of the map. They are going to fall, though. The Artie is still going to be showing. I would imagine that's DC Artie trying to take care of some of this CoRe infantry. Let's do a quick fly around on the map because we are seeing some vehicles here way outside of the action. Let's see what's going on here. Is that just a truck? Oh, no, the Puma. Well, that's interesting. A DC Puma going way to the northwestern part of the map. A couple of players do spot it, though, 2 ATs, so they're going to be hunting for that. And back on Hill 400 now. MGs are set up now. It's going to be Jay Thompson trying to find some players. Crusader is just going to go after Pang Pang, though. He should spot him here. It should be a quick kill. Easy kill for Crusader as he continues on his crusade. And I'm going to take another quick look at the map for the DC armor. And there is no armor on the point now for DC. In fact, there's no armor on the map for DC right now. A couple of trucks have been spawned in, but after losing so much of their armor right off the bat, I guess, you know, with the exception of the Puma, way off in the corner. I mean, this is a great opportunity for CoRe to get themselves set up and maybe even gain some ground right now. We're near the top of the hill now, though. It's going to be a nice squad fight here as Bully is just going to bully 2 players with a
nice
rocket.
Bazooka shot.
That was fantastic. Quite literally bullying them with explosives. Already still showing DC players as well. This is not the meat grind that I would want to be in. This has got to be a little bit rough.
No, and I have to emphasize how stressful it can be in these situations when you're you're playing as an infantry and you have Artie landing all around you, so you can't hear footsteps, you can't hear other guys doing stuff, you can't hear callouts.
Right.
And you're trying to grind your way up a hill to some dude just creeping around behind a tree. It is really frustrating and really stressful, and you got to really give it to these people for their ability to multitask and kind of get through.
Absolutely. Alexibox, excuse me, was sitting down holding position with with an MG, but that is no longer happening as he was spotted out by the Artie.
I have a feeling anti-Artie will be one of the biggest factors in this game, just because whoever can either get more explosions or, you know, have the team get less or the other team get less explosions.
Right.
It's going to be a huge factor for getting out of this grind.
I agree. And you know what? Let's take a quick look at the artillery. We'll do a very quick flyover. Take a look at CoRe's Artie right now. Looks like right now they do have, it's about to be 2 guns operational. Now they're back down to 1. The rocket snipes are coming in. I'm curious to know where that's coming from. In fact, oh, you know what? That's what the Puma was over here for. I just realized. It has since been destroyed, but that Puma was actually trying to take care of the Artie. But before we check on DC's Artie, they are taking back Hill 400. They have players on the point right now. Armor is back up, at least on the southern side of the map.
It looks like they kind of broke through on that south side a little bit.
Yeah, let's take a look over at the south side. So we'll take a very short flyover. And all these players here at cap weight, if I'm not mistaken. They're in the point.
Yeah.
Or in sector, at least.
These guys down here, though, I think they're just right outside of it.
Yeah. Well, for a moment, I mean, it seems to be going back and forth. These spawns for DC, as we take a look, I mean, it's all just OPs here in the sector. No garrisons available just yet for them. But they're not making it easy for CoRe to hold. And something just went down here. I'm actually curious to know what that was. We'll take a look once that smoke clears. But this tank has just been on the point for quite some time. This is still the medium tank. So CoRe's not going to let this go down easily. But we are seeing another tank push up from DC. That is going to be heavy with Sneaky, Guerrilla Tactics, and Soren. Point once again flashing.
And those were the NA players I had mentioned in our pregame show that are in DC.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, that's great. Okay, that is good to know. That is a CoRe bombing run, by the way. Looks like is going to clear a couple of garrisons. In fact, look at the garrison situation for DC. They have one garrison way south of Eastern Slope. A couple of OPs, but you know what? It's not a whole lot to go off if they really need to get this cap. If they're going to go all in, it needs to succeed. Otherwise, it could turn out bad for them.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a situation where you don't want to kind of fall back and reestablish those garrisons because you're taking the point, but also if you don't take the point, it's going to go really badly for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, they are making progress as they're almost halfway there. This medium tank, though, is still on the point. Another Greyhound is coming up from CoRe. CoRe is now spawning on the hard cap. Steven is going to get a couple of kills before he goes down. Oh, this armed repair max might be able to get this Greyhound, though, if he has a rocket, but he goes down. Oh, this is such a great back and forth.
And I think that Greyhound got a shot off in that trench and wiped one of the DC OPs. It looked like that was a big play from him.
Look at the amount of players. This is what the teams we spoke to. You know, we talked to Mucksnapper, we talked to Tacotastic from Goff and TL, respectively. And they talk about CoRe's ability to min-max, where they can redistribute players on the fly. You know, exactly where they need to be. And it just works out for them. It just works out. Look at the defense now. Artillery shelling the players to the north. This is fantastic defense. DC is not giving up, though. Their point of attack from the south here, I mean, they're not letting up.
Man, and this is just brutal. You know, all these guys, you see them get one kill and then they die, and then the guy who got them blows up. It's so brutal.
It really is. Let's take a look at the southern point once again, or south of the point. It's actually kind of cleared up. Most players on this area, on this road, have really made their way up the hill now, and we're, you know, as we said, really going all in on the attack. Doesn't look like it's going to succeed, especially since Medini is now in the trenches. Might be able to clear some of these OPs. Alexi's going to try to catch Medini, but he's going to go down. Medini's still alive. It's just a couple of players left on the hard cap now. This northern push from DC, though, getting shut down. Bully with 2 kills now. Will he catch Wasabi? The other side of the trench. They may not know that they're actually right here. And I'm going to take another quick look at the north now. This CoRe do have pretty good control here on this north side as well. I mean, a couple of players, but really all you need to do is just keep them out of the sector at this point. If you're this high up on the hill, Lightskin might be able to get to break through here. But DC's going to have to bring up their armor here if they want to have another shot at this.
Yeah, and you can see the 4th point going down just a little bit. I don't think.
Yeah, let's back up
much,
here.
But it's definitely contested.
Yeah, it looks like just one player, actually. He is marked. That's going to be Dorbian here on Eastern Slope. And again, as we take a look at our map, a couple of garrisons being rebuilt now for DC. This northern one is actually locked out. But I think Mike Laurie might have just saved that northern garrison as Kaya goes down.
Great play.
Yeah, no, Mike Laurie making sure that they keep those spawns alive. Dorbian, though, still on the hard cap for Eastern Slope. Actually trying to take some shots at these players up the hill. Some flares coming up now as well. That's going to be One True Bob. Trying to spot out this player. I don't think we're going to see Dorbian alive for much longer now that he's spotted.
No.
All right, so a couple of CoRe players, though, they are actually breaking through, making their way down the hill. It's going to be nice. Medini and SOS going to get a kill instead.
They're putting pressure on this garrison, and I think they just blew it up there, so that might be a big play for CoRe.
That garrison did go down. That was a great rocket. Yeah, I think is CoRe going to get this 4-1? I don't know. Maybe. They might be able to do it.
I think DC will bounce back here. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly know how to recover very well. We saw that in their game versus Esprit de Corps on Hill 400. I would like to very quickly address something in the chat. There seems to be a rumor going around that for whatever reason I'm going to do the one-chip challenge for a certain number of subs. No, that's not going to happen. No, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. Anyway, back to the game now. Let's take a look at Hill one more time. It actually is pretty clear of most infantry. I mean, CoRe is, doing some patrolling around the hard cap right now. Sarius, Elwair, and Wing in the area. But for the most part, CoRe are just going to try to stop this push from the east. Bomb was going to run to SVK. Bleacher is nearby as well. Bleacher might actually catch him here if he's looking. SVK is going to take care of it first, though. Take a look at some of these players trying to make their way back up here. Oh, Ninja Pulver's going to go down as well. Who was that? That was Medini getting that kill. Medini's actually getting behind a lot of these players. He might catch Winston as well. There's the sight. Doesn't hit a shot, though. Winston's going to turn around. He does know he's there, though. And does punish Medini. You can't be missing your shots because that's what happens. I think I just heard a ricochet from somewhere, and let's see where that's coming from. Is this the same 75? This is the same 75 that's been here for the past 20 minutes now from CoRe. That's kind of insane that they're just still holding that position. Looking for DC's armor right now. Doesn't look like there's anything on the point, or really anything at all. Heavy tank did just spawn in from their middle HQ. DC is going to be kind of on the defense right now. I mean, CoRe is actually being a little bit aggressive here. It's just one or two squads pushing down toward Eastern Slope, but pressure is pressure. It's forcing DC to redistribute resources. All right, let's take a look at the northern side here near Flak Pits. A couple of squads trying to flank. Harold here is on the hunt. Was on the hunt. Actually, it looks like he may have just respawned right now. But Vadi and Driv are in the area. Vadi might be able to get something set up here. It is a squad lead way out in the distance, so.
And I don't think anyone knows he's out there if that guy was redeploying.
Yeah, if that was a redeploy, yeah, there's no way. I think he's got to be pretty safe for right now. Take a quick look and do a garrison check here. DC have lost all their garrisons on the hard cap for Eastern Slope. They do have quite a few OPs, but some of these squad leaders here, I would say like Alpha Squad Leader, that's Soul Raver, maybe try to get an OP up on this this northern side.
Yeah, I think they have a decent OP network around Eastern Slope right now, so they're still okay, but they definitely need some more garrisons up there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Trawl looking like he's going to get 2 kills here from the top of the hill. Just perched up behind the tree.
I do have to note, it is really hard because right where that line is the lower elevation from hill. So all those garrisons can be seen from like the top of the hill and just rocketed pretty easily. It's kind of, just a frustrating side effect of how the map is laid out.
Yeah, unfortunately that, with a hill like Hill 400, yeah, it can be a bit tough to have garrisons on out on that side, but we'll see what DC can do, see if they can work with what they got. They are losing Eastern Slope once again. CoRe putting on that pressure. And it's more than just one player this side, this time, I should say. Crusader leading a squad Zoom, getting a couple rockets out. And we do have players even way out to the southeast as well. So CoRe is getting themselves set up. They might be going for the 4 or 5 points here. And again, with looks like 2 garrisons now on Eastern Slope. So DC are preparing themselves. But CoRe, there's no blue on Eastern Slope at the moment.
Yeah, this is looking really dangerous right now.
Absolutely. Something I was not expecting. But let's take a look at Ezio's squad as they try to push their way back up and try to get this defense going. Ezio's going to drop Crusader, get that trade kill. He's going to get dropped by the firing squad out to the southwest, though, in front of him. Lightskin will take a look and see if they can get their way up.
Oh, and Thorpe's coming in from behind, and he just wiped 3 of those guys.
Wow, unfortunately. Is that an airhead that just dropped in? That is a CoRe airhead that just dropped onto the point. CoRe is going for the 4-1.
And they're smoking it out, too.
Oh, that's incredible. Lexi is aware, though. Should be aware. He's going to get set up with that MG. DCR defending, but if CoRe can't, or if CoRe can defend the airhead, it could still happen. It could absolutely still happen.
And they also have this OP spawn on the south, which is, they just got another spawn off there.
Yeah, DC still with the defense. That airhead, I wonder if that's still up. Haven't seen a spawn yet on it. I know there's, a 40-second cooldown on that, so. But they might be able to clear it, or DC might be able to clear it.
Ooh, and that tank just killed the whole squad. I think he probably got that airhead as well.
I think he might have. Let's take a look as the smoke starts to clear. Can we see it? I think that's, yeah, that's definitely gone. 100% that's gone.
Good save by that tank.
Yeah, that was an aggressive play from CoRe. That's what I expect from CoRe from the finals. That aggression and just keeping that pressure up. It's, that's great. But DC recovering well. It is going to be a full reset for them if we look at our map. They do have 1 garrison on Hill 400. That is important to note.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for DC still. I mean, they had to reset their defense a little bit,
right?
But it's going to allow them to kind of get a better formation going while they have that attack from behind, kind of brewing up as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if they can at least keep that pressure up with a couple of players, that'll be good to have for them. Truma and Nice, very, very close to each other. Nice is just going to try to crawl away so as to not be seen. Is going to try to take a shot at Ezio, but Truma hopefully can hear it. Oh, but no, Truma's going to go down. So let's do a quick fly around while we can right now, while things are resetting. Looks like the there's no way that's the same 75, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I've seen a 76 yet from CoRe. I'm gonna be honest. But the 75 is going to face some pressure from some of these DC players. Look at the amount of players spawning now.
Yeah, that back garrison.
Oh, DC making a play. We'll see if it pays off for them. If this spotter doesn't spot, I mean, this could be bad news for CoRe, and I'm sure they'll be able to respond. Oh, the spotter has spotted. Absolutely.
Yeah, Thorpe's there, though. He's going to try and get that satchel on.
Yep.
Ooh, and
gonna get
good
drops.
play by that tank commander, but there's still a ton of guys there.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the Artie now, though. Or maybe that was just a tank shell. That was the tank shell, but still.
And I think the last time we streamed this, Anthony, teams weren't opting for the heavy tanks. They were rolling out the mediums the whole time. I think just since the tanks are so easily flankable,
right?
You know, why not just do the cheaper tank? It's going to cost you less in the long run.
Yeah, no, that is true. And you know, CoRe is getting their money's worth with their resources here. Dr. Durs is going to get out now as well to try to repair, but DC putting on the pressure. There's the satchel. Is actually trying to defuse the satchel. I didn't even notice that had been placed. Billy's going to get a couple of kills now as well. Let's take a look at our map right now. That garrison is now locked out. Let's see who's the one who actually not locked that out. Going to be Raisin and George Lee, who are actually very close to it. A couple of players, though, are defending. Yeah, I think Raisin should be going down here momentarily. But DC coming from behind onto Hill 400. We'll do a quick fly around the map here. Get an idea of what's going on right now. DC still with a tank here on Eastern Slope to defend. North side looking pretty clear right now, but DC starting to wrap around the hill now as well. They are contesting the point now. They were for a brief moment. And it looks like the infantry that do make it to the top of the hill, unfortunately, not able to make it happen just yet.
Yeah, it was a good reaction by CoRe to kind of clear out that back line.
Yeah, no, they definitely did what they needed to do. I thought that was maybe an airhead for a second, but no, that was just just some supplies dropping down here. North side, couple of squads fighting for control. Or I'm sorry, that's the south side, pardon me. And CoRe still trying to get that pressure on Eastern Slope. I mean, to be able to pivot from calling people back to defense to immediately going back on the offensive. I mean, look at the amount of players CoRe has, and they're wrapping around the northeast too. And that's a squad lead over there too. Let's see what squad leads this. That's Luck Gummy. So CoRe may be able to make something happen. Still some armor on DC. In fact, there's more armor coming in from their spawn now.
I gotta say, though, having armor on Eastern Slope is really sketchy, especially if you don't have a ton of infantry support. Like this, look at this AT running right up to that tank right there.
Yep. Oh, the tank does take him out, though. But yeah, I guess with all the elevation, with all the cover that AT players can have to get around you and flank you, yeah, probably not the safest place for a tank to be. But DC looking to make sure their defense is solid right now. And I think they are aware of a lot of these players here to the north. I do see, though, over on Hill 400 as we pan around, DC once again making progress up the hill. Just over 30 minutes into the match now, and DC are trying once again to make it happen. No garrison this time, just OPs. That garrison was taken out.
Yeah. They've got a good backline push, though. And I just, 45 seconds ago, saw Thorpe over on the east side of Hill. So you know they got those OPs up, switched squads real quick, and have been doing this attack.
Yeah, no, it looks like they are going to try to get players from both sides. Steven is on the east side as well. CoRe launching the flares now as well. We'll get down into the trenches here. As Mordecai does drop Thorpe. CoRe is going to get taken out by artillery in the back as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a final. This is a great back and forth so far in this first half hour. And we'll take a quick look back at Eastern now. Still a couple of players here on Eastern Slope from CoRe, but for the most part, looking like not as much of an issue right now. So, back up the hill. Looks like DC may be trying to get their armor back up. Is this tank stuck? That tank? Oh, no. Oh no.
I think we saw the same tank crew climbing trees in that last Hill 400 match.
Oh, that tank is vertical. What are you doing? That's incredible.
Maybe just trying to hit the artillery from here.
That's right. Yeah, try to snipe the artillery. That's a new arty snipe, actually. That's gonna be
Yeah.
part of the meta here real soon.
No, I'm not gonna grief them too much. Driving on this map is brutal.
Yeah.
Tanking on this map sucks. It's not fun.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You have to have a very specific mindset, in my opinion, to tank on this map.
Yeah, no, I think and also I don't see them getting out of there. I think they really are like stuck. But yeah, no, you got to be understanding. I mean, particularly with some of these tanks that are not as maneuverable, it's definitely tough to get around, especially if you have infantry around you. Mordecai's trying to get a second rocket into this Panther. It's going to turn around. Mordecai's going to get dropped.
No tank is ever truly stuck, Anthony, especially for comp level drivers. You can get out of anything.
I'll be curious to see how they get out. Oh, you know what? Look at that. I think they're out.
Yep.
Look at that. Magic,
But
your tanking
we
experience
know-
is showing.
We know all the tricks. You can do all sorts of things.
Yeah, in your time tanking with Leroy, I'm sure you've gotten a tank stuck or two. One or two tanks stuck.
It's always Leroy getting the tank stuck. I would never get the tank stuck. I'm flawless as driver and gunner as well.
Well, that's why Leroy has now retired from HLL. So, let's take a look at the southern side of the hill. As Raisin, the commander for CoRe, trying to make their way back up the hill. Should point out that Horton Ho is commanding for DC as per usual. And a couple of squads here trying to clear out the trenches on Hill 400. Thorpe's going to have his work cut out for him, though, as there are quite a few players in the area. Should be able to get through this trench safely. I say that as artillery is flying all around him. He's gonna... Was that an OP wipe we just saw? I wasn't even sure what that was. Or maybe that was an AP mine. Oh, there's an OP wipe with 2 kills for Thorpe. Oh, but is he gonna spot the garrison? It's right here, right to your left.
See, and this is what I was talking about earlier with all the artillery going off. In a normal pub game, you would hear that radio being that close to it. Oh, and maybe he did hear it because he put that satchel right there.
Yeah, that's
great play by Thorpe.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's... Oh, maybe someone might find that satchel. Perhaps. If this squad lead turns left, he might. But will he have time to defuse? I think he will. We'll keep an eye on that.
Found it. Wow.
That's a great spot. For such a sneaky satchel, too. Yeah, I think that that satchel should be going down here momentarily. Another Greyhound on the point for CoRe. And DC, looking like they are making progress up the hill. I say that as the squad just gets murdered by artillery. Thorpe goes down once again. Looks like Ninja Pulver may be getting that trade there.
I gotta say, I was rooting for Thorpe's satchel to go out there. I wanted to see, like, 15 guys die all at once.
Yeah, that would have been lovely. That would have been fantastic to see. Oh, but another rocket. That's a rocket from Zoom. Disrespectful. I think Ninja might have gotten another trade there, though. So Ninja Pulver, the team player here, getting the trades. Bleacher here supporting as well. I love the downhill rockets. That's just so satisfying to see. Just people dying to explosions. Always satisfying.
That would be Bleicher as well.
Oh, Bleicher. Oh, thank you. Is that a German pronunciation?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. So, CoRe making their way down this trench line without much resistance. We'll turn ourselves around here and get a POV of what they're looking at. And they're going to be looking at quite a few blue dots here. Although I guess technically they can't see the dot. But quite a few players from DC. So Lucky's going to chuck a couple of nades out. Nade doesn't quite catch Ezio, but oh, the second one catches his teammate though. Paramax should spot him here if he turns left. He does. That's going to save Ezio. And just one Greyhound here on the hill for CoRe. We'll do a quick map check, Magic, as we take a look at our garrisons and OPs. Lots of OPs in the red zone for DC, as they do have a nice front line that's moving up the hill. Looks like a flare on the southern side, trying to spot any players. And a really nice network of garrisons from north to south, both on the eastern and western side of the slope.
And I think it's been interesting to see kind of the rubber banding between these two teams in the F column. you know, not too long ago, CoRe was mostly holding this whole area, and now DC is.
Yeah, no, the back and forth has been really fantastic. This is really top level HLL as the teams are, you know, getting around each other. You know, as Kendrick said, you know, DC will find these holes, and they managed to do so. They managed to get behind them, attack from different angles. But then CoRe goes and does the same thing. They go and defend, and then put themselves right back on the eastern side to attack Eastern Slope.
Yeah, and I think both teams are probably feeling confident right now. DC is thinking, you know, they did a big push and we came back, we fought them out, and we rebounded. And CoRe is thinking, you know, we already had one good push, now we just need another.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think CoRe is feeling really confident after almost capping Eastern and then also stopping a couple of attacks from DC. I think they are going to have probably a successful push. I think my mind is changing. We might see a 4-1 unless DC can pull something off. But DC gathering themselves up on the southeastern corner of the hill. They are going to be met with this Greyhound, though. But if this AT player can maybe get a rocket off. Noob question magic. Will a rocket kill a Greyhound from the front in one hit? I believe so, right? Yeah, it just one hit from anywhere. Okay. So they could make it happen. Maybe. DC with plenty of cap weight, even though there's no players on the hard cap, they were sector capping for just a moment. Mike Lowry with a couple of kills. And Mike Lowry with, actually, we've seen him actually do pretty well here on these flanks as an infantry player. And CoRe looking like this area is pretty secure for the most part for them. Let's take a look at the north as it's been a minute since we've been over there. But, oh, actually, hold on. We're hearing the Stuka. Where is that going to drop? There goes the Greyhound. And that's what happens when you sit still for too long. That is going to be a Greyhound down. And we are seeing armor from DC now approach the hill. That's actually great timing. Eastern Slope still under pressure, though. Not by a whole lot of players. In fact, where is this contest coming from? Is it just one player? All right. Well, in any case, we're going to watch DC make their way up this hill. A couple of tanks here, slowly rolling themselves up there. Artie is still showing that hard cap. The point is going to contest once again. DC pushing from the southeast corner as well now. If they can clear out some of this CoRe infantry, they might be able to make it happen. Oh, but so many players going down.
Yeah, that CoRe player, I think, just wiped an OP and got those 3 kills there behind that tank.
Yeah, this SL, huge plays as he gets another one. That's one true Bob going down. Let's turn ourselves around. Oh, but the Artie.
Tragic.
Oh, man, what a play, though. CoRe doing the, actually getting themselves around this north side, clearing out a lot of the DC players. I'm sure Amp will call that out, particularly since he's an SL. That'll be called out in command chat. And here comes another spawn. That's going to be an OP down for CoRe here in a moment. Or a DC OP going down, I should say. Well, rockets coming out now as well. Excuse me. And there's an MG player right on top of this bunker. I'm not sure if Paramax is aware. Stide is definitely not aware. Paramax is going to go down. I'm not sure these two players are aware of each other. I don't think they are. But
surely the MG is. Oh, maybe not. He just turned around.
Nope. Oh, he's going to drop down to the bunker, though. He's going to wrap around. Oh, he's going to get friendly fired. I think he just got friendly fired. Oh, no. And then the tank just blows it up. Oh, man. That's interesting. Something you maybe don't want to see if you're CoRe. But this little tank here, this 75... I don't think they have an angle on this this Panther right now. We'll find out here. I do see that Eastern Slope is flashing contested as well.
And I kind of like the way this Panther's tanking. They're just sitting in front of this OP, trying to help their infantry push up the hill any way they can.
Yeah. Still going to try to put that pressure on Hill 400. They are going to have to make sure that Eastern is taken care of, as there are players here to the east. In fact, quite a few players. And one thing to note, I don't think we ever took a look at DC's artillery, so let's do that while we have a moment. Looks like they do have 3 guns operational. A couple of, looks like a recon squad out in the distance. Some armor's gonna try to hold them off there, but DC looks like artillery operational for the time being, at least for now. And DC is definitely aware of these lurkers over here. So, back on hill, we're seeing a lot more red, a lot more core players now. Still two pieces of armor here for DC, but, you know, looks like just a couple of OPs for infantry to spawn on. It's going to be tough to support them with the already shelling this area so hard. Oh, and Paramax is going to catch a shell as well. Scarp Skider is just going to take some bullets, not going to die to the artillery. Is this tank starting to move up now? It looks like this Panther is moving up. I don't think we'll see an engagement just yet from these 2 tank crews, but here on the south side, CoRe is actually kind of in control on this side. Hellbro is all by his lonesome. Farmer looks like did get a kill right now on a CoRe player way out on the map edge. Wing and Sarius might catch some bullets from Zoom if he does spot them in time. And Zoom is just not aware just yet. So Sarius is going to make it through along with Wing. And right now, Eastern is under pressure once again. CoRe just constantly keeping up the pressure. And with several SLs in the area, we have Luck Gummy, we have Nice. I think we're going to start to see some more OP spawns. We are almost at the halfway point, and CoRe is not letting up on this push. DC still defending for now. They are going to call a few players back. Get us another piece of armor back now as well. That's going to be the Puma heading back to defend. And it doesn't look like there are any AT players alive for CoRe down in that area, so that may be okay for now. Or the Puma might be okay for now.
And that's a good response from DC. They're just going to stop the gap pressure, and they know there's only a couple of guys there, so they're just getting a couple people back in the zone.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good call by DC to keep this infantry pressure up on Hill 400. This north side, it looks like we're seeing a lot more blue than we did before, but there's still CoRe players lurking around here. Para is going to actually get behind a lot of these players. Maybe an opportunity to clear some OPs. Looks like Soul Raver trying to clear out this northern side. He is going to go down after getting 1 kill. That's Rop. Rifleman for CoRe, dropping Soul Raver. Right now, Amp, Wasabi, and Thorpe. Oh, looks like they didn't see Mosh, who's coming behind the tank now. Not sure if anyone spotted. Is that a Satchel? That is a Satchel AT player. Nosorin's going to get out, though. That's a great save.
Yeah, great play by Nosorin there.
Oh, it's going to cost him his life, though. He should be able to spawn back pretty soon, though. Steven is going to go down to Profix now. Eastern still contested by CoRe. And in fact, it is going the direction of CoRe. And we want to take a moment to thank everybody who's joining us in chat today. We appreciate you being here for the seasonal final. We're watching DC take on CoRe. And it has been a thrill of a game so far. CoRe putting pressure on Eastern Slope right now. DC coming back to respond while still trying to keep up this pressure with their armor on Hill 400. But we just want to take a moment to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And we're here to watch a very, very exciting game. 43 minutes left in the match now. Humple Pummel, AT player, gonna perhaps try to get behind these tanks again. Mosh is in the area as well. Steven, oh, and looks like a Satchel may have gone off. That tank is down. That's gonna catch Steven, and now Mosh and Humple Pummel gonna get behind this tank. Are they going for a rocket? That's 1 rocket. Mosh has a Satchel, though. Oh, maybe a better call would have been to wait for the Satchel to go down first. Here comes the second rocket, though. Humble Pummel's going to get dropped, but that's going to give Mosh time to put the satchel down. And that is down. Oh, and CoRe. Such beautiful play against the armor.
It's sad to see the MAT players.
Oh, Mono might actually be able to catch that. No, he's going to get dropped. Mosh is defending his own satchel. And I think Thug Snapper, as my doorbell rings, we're going to ignore that. Mono does go down. But I think that's GG for this tank. Oh, yeah, that is 2 pieces of armor down.
Great plays by CoRe there. Their infantry are really kind of, I think, have the advantage right now.
Absolutely. CoRe's infantry is just playing beautifully at the moment. DC, of course, trying to respond. They are still losing Eastern right now. Let's actually go and take a look at the Eastern side and the South side as well. As CoRe, there's definitely a couple of OPs here. And lots of CoRe players. And losing those 2 tanks is going to be... it's bad news, I think, for DC right now. It's a shame to kind of lose that control, but we'll see if they can once again recover. You know, have they done it before? Let's get down into these fights and see what's going on.
And you can kind of see how the front line has collapsed. It's now shifted to the south side of the 4th point, rather than being all along the Hill 400 and you know, north-south line. Is what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the spread right now. I mean, they in fact, look at the lack of spawns. I mean, we have 1 garrison on eastern slope, 1 kind of to the northeast, I guess. It's fair to count that as well. 2 OPs in the sector. So 2 OPs, 2 garrisons is what they have to work with to defend. It's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be a tough fight. Let's watch this SL from CoRe. That's SOS is going to go down from CoRe. Or CoRe kills the CoRe SL. It's a confusing name. That name should be banned. So, Eastern Slope still an SL though, nice and lucky on the hard cap right now. DC recognizing that there are players to the south from CoRe running to try to stop this push. Ezio's going to take a couple of shots right now. Not going to find SOS or Sturb. We'll call that Sturb. Bully's going to find Ezio as well, though. Not quite hit his shots. It must be just so hard to see. Ezio is in the ground. Okay, Ezio was in the ground there for a moment. But it must be so hard to see right now with this terrain. And there goes Ezio. CoRe still putting on the pressure. If we look at Hill 400, there are still a couple of players from DC right now. But CoRe still with, is that the Greyhound on the point? No, that's the 75 on the point still. And then they are bringing in the second tank. And this one is going to be the 76, so the big tank is coming. If they can eventually, you know, get their way up the hill, or make their way up the hill. 40 minutes now left in the match. Amp, the lone SL from DC on the point. And he is going to go down now as well. Templeton does go down in addition to that. CoRe, there's a steady flow of infantry making their way down the hill. And it just keeps going back the way of CoRe. And they just keep putting that pressure on, keep getting their players on the hard cap. And it's surprising to see how many times they get themselves onto the point and into the hard cap. I think if they can maybe get, maybe if they can get a piece of armor down here, I think that would seal the deal. But DC is bringing up a couple more tanks to try to stop this.
Yeah, and I think they'll get there just in time. CoRe have this good push coming in from the west, though. And that's always the most dangerous, just because it's coming from Hill 400. Those are their closest spawns, and it's not that far of a run down that hill.
No, it's really not. Plus, you have the height advantage, of course, and things are just going the way of CoRe at the moment. DC's putting up a good fight. I mean, I think at this point, any other team would have lost Eastern and probably would have lost Circle as well. I think it would have been over had it been any other team. And we are seeing another airhead from CoRe. I think this one goes down right away with this tank coming in. And there's not really any smoke here either.
Yeah, surely the spotter sees that and is calling it out.
Yeah, one would hope. That tank is shelling
they're
it.
getting shells on it.
Yeah. Did they get it? I think that's gone now, yeah. That's an RIP to that airhead. Dorbian is an AT player here. Might be able to get a rocket off on the tank if he kills Lightskin here. No, Lightskin is going to get the kill. Medini is behind the tank, though, although as a rifleman, not a whole lot you can do. 2SL is just going to hide in the bunker. Their OPs are going to get wiped by that tank, though. Oh, and DC, look at this north side now.
Yeah, I still think they're in a little bit of a precarious situation. They kind of need to reestablish control over this western flank because these guys are just running straight in from Hill 400 at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they can try to make their way up this hill again, but look at the control now. At least, 5 minutes ago, DC had armor here, they had players here, and there's really nothing for them right now. I mean, this infantry might be able to make it happen if they can go up to the north, but...
I think we're going to see it. It's kind of bounced back and forth this whole game. And look at this big mob of infantry.
Yeah. I mean, CoRe is coming here to meet them, but I think in time, yeah, it'll be a grind, but perhaps they can break through.
I just think it's impressive DC hasn't folded.
Oh, absolutely.
They've bounced back every time, and then they're back on the attack,
Yeah, no, they're right back to it. We talked about after a certain amount of time that, it really becomes a mental game. And DC are showing that they are not going to break. At least not yet. Here comes the 76 up the hill now, though. We'll keep an eye on that and check in a few minutes. Zoom still set up with an MG now, actually. Already still shelling. Actually, there's quite a bit of fighting going on in this area. At least artillery is coming down in this area. Ezio looking like, or at least his squad did clear the infantry. Another flare coming up, just to make sure that the all clear is there. And looking at our map now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to point out how this line is starting to form back up for DC.
Yeah, they're making it happen. There are some supplies here in E4. They can get maybe another support there. Maybe they can get a garrison down, set something up again. 36 minutes is plenty of time. Plenty of time. And it looks like now that Eastern Slope is clear, once again, fantastic recovery from DC. Now they're getting themselves set up again. And that's great play.
I got to mention, in my opinion anyway, I believe Axis have a pretty big disadvantage on Hill 400 just because the way the roads are and the way the tanks can contribute, it's a lot more difficult for them to do anything useful than the Allied tanks. And on the flip side, the way the zones are set up and stuff, just the flanking is much harder to do as well for the Axis infantry. Even though they do have a weapons advantage, they have STGs and stuff like that, but it's not as much of an advantage on a tree map where it's a lot slower.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And CoRe has said, the fact that they got allies is it's working out for them. They were confident that it would. DC, as we said, they say they can play any map anyway, but at least for right now, CoRe are showing that allies was a good pick for them. And do we know,
for sure.
Do we know who made the final pick for that? Was it DC who picked Hill 400?
Give me 1 sec, I'll check for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm curious to know who made that final call, because I think it was Hill or SME, one of the two if I remember. But yeah, if we can get confirmation on that, that'd be fantastic. DC pushing armor up this southern side now, though. Looking like they may be trying to get behind the tanks on Hill 400.
So yeah, that was DC's final pick. They banned SME Axis.
Okay.
To secure the final.
Okay. So yeah, DC again confident in their pick. They're not doing horribly right now. In fact, they're playing very well given the circumstances.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision for them. When you pick a map, you're kind of picking with the thought of what points you'll get in mind, and you're thinking, maybe we'll have the advantage on 2 out of the 3 points, and that's worth taking that map.
Right.
Hoping that you get one of those points, but it doesn't always work out that way.
No, definitely not. So let's head back over to the north right now. Soul Raver once again in the area. Should find Rop here once again. These players have found each other a couple of times now, gotten into a few fights, and Rop comes out on top once again here. Oh, but here comes an AT player trying to get a trade here, but he's going to go down as well. Rop with 2 kills. That's great. CoRe. Is that a CoRe flare? No, it's actually a DC flare. So these players should be spotted right now. Mike Laurie is going to go down. Rob is just on a tear at the moment. And that's an OP wipe as well. Fantastic infantry play here in the forest. Looks like the 76 is on the point now, facing these players that are coming from the east, and they do have a tank sip as well. And DC focusing a lot of their effort on this southeastern side now. Let's take a look at what's going on here. And it is a bit quiet here on this side. So, teams getting themselves set up for their next attack. There is a 76 on this hill here. That might catch this Panther. I'm not sure what this elevation is going to look like, but they might catch something. DC with some cap weight in the sector.
And it's been wild to me how dynamic these front lines have been the entire match, just kind of going back and forth. And I kind of think that's why teams have been picking Hill 400 as kind of a more balanced map, just because with the trees and everything, there's not as many choke points as other maps, and so you kind of have more opportunity to get plays off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the routes you can take and the positions you can set up, I mean, you can just be really sneaky on this map, and that's definitely the biggest contributor here to the back and forth that we're seeing. It's just it's two skilled teams who know how to play the map, and they're making it work out. You know, it's a great tug of war, and that's what we wanted from this final. You know, everyone seems to, I would think, hope for that, you know, that 90-minute grind, maybe a couple of map flips. But Truma gonna get a kill here on this. I think that's a recon SL. And looks like more already shelling the point. I thought maybe we were gonna see a bombing run, but nope, not just yet. But the pressure is back on for CoRe. DC have done an excellent job of securing Eastern Slope. And there, of course, CoRe infantry is going to get through. And we can see that has happened. But DC is just rolling up tank after tank, I should say, by the way. We've seen a lot of armor come out of their spawn. In fact,
yeah, and I think they have to, but it's kind of been hard for them to get their tanks involved, I've noticed.
I would agree. Yeah, we haven't really seen their tanks be effective on Hill 400. Apart from, you know, the two tanks that they had kind of just anchored here on this part of the hill for some time, but I didn't know. What is this that we're seeing here? Is that? Oh, those are just supplies.
Yeah,
I thought
just
maybe.
supplies. The airhead always has the red parachute.
Oh, good to know. That's, see, today I learned, even in the seasonal final, we're still learning things every game. So.
Well, yeah, and if I remember correctly, the last seasonal final, the thing that you learned was that a Luke's is not a tiger.
I did learn that, yes, in the last seasonal. It took me the entire seasonal to learn that, but yes. So fun fact, if you don't know in chat, the Luke's, the German tank, very much a different tank than the German tiger. So not many tigers that we've seen this seasonal. Not many. I don't think we've seen any actually. This Panther though, still just holding this position in the road. I don't think it's engaged the 76 yet. In fact, the 76 has really gone much further up the hill at this point. DC with some more cap weight, though. Bommel is going to try to hold this position from the bunker. Going to be forced to retreat from Alexi. That's great suppression from that MG. In fact, that's going to allow them to get behind. Is Bommel going to be ready for that? He should hear it. Here comes Alexi. Oh, he's not ready for it, though. No, he doesn't see him. Oh, and Dashuna's going to go down. Alexi, they just completely missed each other. Here comes Bommel now. I wonder if he has a nade, perhaps? Both players ready for each other. Alexi going to come out on top.
Oh, Rambo MG, tragic. you hate when that happens as an infantry player going around the corner to someone you know it's there, and it's a Rambo MG.
Oh, no, and that Panther does go down from the 76. Yeah, that elevation advantage, that's tough to break. CoRe is definitely trying to put a stop to this this push on the hill. And we are at the sub 30-minute mark now, the last 1/3 of the game. And honestly, this could still go either way. DC have had a couple of great attempts so far I think if maybe they can get some SLs in the backline once again, maybe they can have another good push like that. That seemed to be their best option, or their best chance of making it happen.
Yeah, I think just with how fluid everything's been so far, I think there's every opportunity for DC to take this if they get, just one good push going. And alternatively, I think CoRe as well on the 4th point. You just never know.
Yeah, no, it could happen. I mean, CoRe, I don't think this eastern slope has ever been completely clear of CoRe infantry. There's always been at least one. I mean, right now it's Luck Gummy. You have a support player, that's Dorbian, way in the back line. So, it's certainly very easy to get behind these players. Here comes another Stuka. I'm wondering where that's going toward. Is that going toward... I'm not sure where that was going to. I don't see any explosions, though, so... Whatever it was, I don't think it quite hit.
I heard it more over by where your camera was when...
Was it really? Yeah.
When it came down. Maybe they used it on a garrison or something? I don't know.
That could be the case. In any case, let's take a look at CoRe, as they are bringing out another medium tank to the battle. We'll see. Clippy should hear this. Clippy has definitely heard it. No way he's going to be able to get a satchel on with the the speed it's going, but at the very least, that should be called out. And Clippy's being a little sneaky little rat down there too. All right, so 26 minutes left in the match now. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us for the seasonal final. It's DC versus CoRe on Hill 400, and we are getting close to the end here. Both teams going to try to make a move, I would imagine. They're trying to get themselves set up. DC trying to get control of this northern part of the hill. They have not been able to make it happen on the south yet, but I do see, I think, did that 76 just go down? I think it might have gone down here. Now I'm wondering what took it down. We don't know just yet. I'm not seeing any tanks here. So, in any case, DC once again with that weight in the sector, contesting for, just a moment. And these squads have just been pushing up this southern part of the hill for at least the past 20 minutes. That's brutal, but they're making it happen. They're putting the pressure on. They're contesting. They're getting themselves into the trenches.
Yeah, and as a DC player, you're just like so desperate to make it that last like 20 meters into that trench because once you get there, you're a little safer. It's easier to win a gunfight.
Right.
And they're so close, but they just can't quite get there.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's definitely tough. So Magic, let's take a look at our map here. It looks like DC are bringing in a heavy tank up to Hill 400. This might be their chance right here as they are getting some cap weight and some capture progress. If the Panther can make it up the hill, and it looks like it is. I'm curious to see the CoRe response right now. I'm not seeing much armor here on the CoRe end. In fact, not a whole lot to contest that Panther, but what we are seeing is CoRe spawning back on the hill to try to put a stop to it.
Yeah, they've just got to fill this middle gap where all the DC guys are running through.
Yeah, no, I think so. So far, no one's made it to these trenches alive. Not yet. Already still shelling, and it looks like that is... I'm not sure whose already that is, actually. Perhaps DC already trying to shell the point, or CoRe already trying to stop these OP spawns.
Yeah, and I've noticed for like the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes, there's definitely been a lot less artillery. I wonder if maybe both sides were down a little bit dealing with the recon.
Yeah, that may be the case. I mean, we definitely saw some CoRe recon way in the backline a couple of minutes ago. So I can't say the same for DC. We haven't taken a look yet, but is that? Trying to see if they do end up getting this Panther up here. I want to know where exactly they decide to place it. It looks like that momentum may be slowing down for DC. As CoRe are getting themselves set up on the top of this hill once again. A couple of big spawns, though. That's a big OP spawn. Alexi's going to go down now. Paramax going to get a trade. Rifleman going to drop Paramax. And Hellbro, unfortunately, last alive on that spawn. But DC maybe not slowing down as they're once again putting that capture progress. Another flare coming out. Is that a DC flare?
Yeah, it looked like it came from DC's side.
Yeah, there's definitely a DC flare.
Which I think that's a good way to play recons on this map, is just have them shooting up those flares over hill so you can kind of see where you need to probe and take care of the infantry.
Yeah, no, I think the information is going to be super vital on this map, especially when you're stuck trying to push up this hill. You really need that artillery support, you need that armor support, and you need to know where those targets are going to be. So, yeah, particularly for DC, these flares I think have been probably really vital for them and really beneficial. This Artie is going to stop this push though. This Artie that's shelling this little section here. If the Artie continues,
some core flares coming back up. Exposed. Oh no, never mind.
No, looks like a second DC flare. CoRe spawning back on the OPs. Look at these quick spawns, though, for CoRe. They are going to be met with DC's infantry at the top of the hill now. They are getting to the top of the hill now. Both points, Eastern and Hill 400, contested. DC, once again, putting that pressure on Hill. Oh, that's a great shot from Bommel here. I think he dropped light skin from that. That was quite a bit of a distance there.
And I think you just got to admire CoRe's teamwork, the way they just redeploy back onto the point as needed instantly.
Yeah.
You know those guys are just, they know what's good for the team, and they just are doing it without even being asked, you know.
Oh, 100%. That's what, we talked about the discipline and the patience of CoRe. This is it right here. They see that they're losing the point, and look how many different OP spawns there are. There's at least one squad here, a second over there, a third, a fourth over there.
Yeah, I think everyone just knows their roles and knows exactly what they need to be doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's a well-polished team. CoRe is very established. As we talked before about, this is, one of DC's first time playing solo in the seasonal. So, it's a fantastic showing from both of them.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they're established. I think you have to admire the consistency with which they stick around. I've been here since the very first seasonal, and to me, that consistency is one of the biggest factors. You saw WTH dominate early on in the much earlier seasonals,
right?
And now you kind of see CoRe doing it the last couple of seasonals as well, and I think it's really impressive.
Yeah, CoRe is definitely the powerhouse that we're seeing here. Well, let's take a look at this bombing run from DC and see how that works out for them. Here it comes. I'm not going to throw out all the infantry. And now let's see what they do with it. I did clear out a pretty solid line here on the hard cap, but CoRe is still pushed up here. They're already on this this downward slope of the hill. And even though there is... Oh, there's another strafing run being called in right now as well. Not sure if that was trying to maybe save an OP or a garrison, but in any case, CoRe still looking strong here as they move east once again. Oh, and this squad's just going to spawn in the trench. Serious going to drop one. Oh, but that's just, it's like shooting fish in a barrel there. As
Yeah,
Leroy says. All right, under 20 minutes now. Here comes another big spawn from DC. They're trying to make their way back up to the armor. CoRe is ready to meet them, though. In fact, Profix and Ninja Pulver should be first to see each other, but no! Ninja's just going to see the explosion as it gets blown up by artillery. Profix is going to go down as well. This tank once again serving as an anchor here, very close to where it was before. But I'm seeing Mordecai and Rupp. I think we might see a satchel rocket combo here.
Seeing all your infantry die around you as a tank on this map is very anxiety-inducing. You know that you're in for some trouble. Especially when they're dying behind you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Luckily, there is infantry here to support. Did put a stop to that. And the tank, somewhat safe for now. Although they may be getting smoked out for a bit. CoRe, look at the amount of infantry here, though, making their way down the hill. DC is on full defense right now. I mean, there's a couple of players here supporting the tank, but Right now, this needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, and we've kind of seen this happen, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes ago, right?
Right.
Where it's just like CoRe gets a good push going, and DC starts to falter, and then, they regroup, and CoRe starts to go. I just think that these teams seem so evenly matched right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely would agree. I mean, CoRe is definitely keeping up this pressure, but DC is just not letting up. I mean, look at these spawns. There are people spawning all around them, and they're managing to hold the ground. I mean, the fight is most certainly shifting toward the direction of Eastern Slope, but it is still a fight. It's not a steamroll by any means. Winston just steamrolled this entire squad.
What just happened there, dude?
I think
guys.
It's the MG.
Him.
It's Stiet. Yeah, the MG player just cleared it out for Winston. That's pretty badass, actually. To just run through that with the support of your MG fire.
Yeah, that was a good shot by that MG, because those guys, they all died like right as he went around the corner, and I was like, oh god.
That's pretty fantastic. So, with just over 15 minutes left, I should say, DC, they're definitely on their back foot right now. CoRe looking pretty strong to maybe hold on to this. But then again, DC do have a few players to the north, so I think if a push is going to happen in the next 5-10 minutes, it's going to be from this northern side. And they do have a garrison here on the south, but look at the amount of players here that just got spotted.
I think...
Go ahead.
I think if you're DC and you're looking at the map right there like you got to be worried about that middle. You see you don't have as many guys there. Everyone's spawning on the south and north side, probably because they're sick of fighting over that mid.
Yeah.
But you got to get some guys there. You just saw another squad spawn in.
Yep.
And you got to just make sure that mid holds.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And even down here, it's still an uphill battle. DC have been pushed back. And it's going to be tough for these next 14 minutes to try to get a capture started. So, we'll take a look at this north side then, since that seems to be where the action may be heading in the next few minutes. Piece of armor coming in now. Let's see what DC is bringing to the table. It is going to be a Panther.
A lot of infantry up on this north side. You have to be kind of glad knowing that you're holding it, having this many guys way up here, because once they start pushing in, that's going to relieve some pressure in the other places.
You mean relieve some pressure from for CoRe, or
for DC?
Gotcha.
Like if these guys on this north side can start, making a good push, those CoRe guys aren't going to be able to push mid and south as hard.
Okay, I see what you mean. Well, Eastern is being contested still, and a bit of progress going toward CoRe, and it really is this squad here. I'm seeing arty markers go down though, so the arty is doing what they need to do. Mordecai is now on the hard cap, but let's take a look at Driv, CoRe, and Ezio. See if they can stop the horde. Oh, but the arty is going to put a stop to them. Driv and Ezio still alive, though. Mordecai's going to go down. Ezio with a kill there. SOS, that's Sturb. Looks like it may be safe for the time being. And Ezio's actually defending this garrison. In fact, if you look at this garrison, this is the only garrison close to Eastern Slope. Not a whole lot of OPs. In fact, this is very dangerous for DC, particularly with the garrison being shelled right now.
And Heidi just made a good point in the chat, too, that you have to play very thin and risky on Eastern Slope to be able to do anything to cap Hill 400.
I see. So basically saying it's going to take a lot of your manpower, literal men and players to cap Hill.
And so, like, as you know, everything's kind of about what real estate you're holding.
Right.
And sometimes you have to give up a little bit to take some in other areas. That's more important.
Right.
And so that's kind of what you have to do on Eastern Slope is dedicate more guys to getting flanks on Hill 400 versus defending Eastern Slope.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I mean, you only have 49 players, and to make a big dedicated push, it's going to cost you in other areas on the map. So let's take a look back at Hill. We'll do a quick fly around of the map as Eastern is still being contested. Looks like it is being defended for the time being.
And the whole core squad, I think, just got wiped by Arty over on Eastern Slope.
I saw that. That was a huge shell way out in the corner over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. Is that Quicknix on Arty? Quicknix is probably having a fantastic game right now.
I'm sure.
Scores.
I'm sure Arty on both sides is literally just enjoying the game, having a good time.
Yeah, you have your sip of coffee or tea or what's that beer that everyone talks, the Altmuddler? I can't say that properly, but you have a couple sips of that. Just keep clicking, dropping those shells. It's a nice time, really. So, back on Hill 400. Looks like a 76 is on the point. That's going to be George, JKL, and Nero. And it's going to be firing at the infantry that's making their way across. Another tank on the point. That is going to be another 76 on the point. All while their infantry is making their way over to Eastern.
Yeah, and so Eastern's, being defended now, and DC kind of have more map control. What's this airhead, though?
That is a CoRe airhead on Eastern Slope. Although that already just cleared out any players who are there defending. I think Soul Raver's going to take care of that pretty easily. Soul Raver or Ezio.
Oh, and he died to the Artie.
Oh, but Ezio should have this no problem. CoRe's been trying this airhead. They've tried it 3 times now. Has not worked out yet for them.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to pull it off quite perfectly. The other 2 times it was just in a place that could get shelled by a tank, and that one was just poorly timed.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. Not a whole lot of support there either, but yeah, no. CoRe's definitely trying. They're not making it easy. And you got to be sweating if you're DC right now.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to show that, it's not exactly like CoRe is owning DC. Like, they're desperate as well.
Right.
Trying an airhead like that.
Oh, absolutely. No, both teams are definitely trying their hardest for now. Jay Thompson going to be perched up on this MG, or on the bunker with an MG. And we'll take a quick look at our map as we fly to the north. Oh, that northern push. Not completely gone. Well, no, that's completely gone. You got a couple of OPs here, but not a whole lot to work with.
They've got a solid push out in the middle, though, but just like the last few times, it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think we've seen a DC airhead yet. I'm curious to know if they pulled that out in the last few minutes. We've seen a couple of bombing runs, but have not pulled out the airhead just yet. Mike Lowry and Ninja Pulver in the area. Zoom and Sturb nearby, but Mike Lowry's just going to push forward. DC still trying to make it happen on this north side, I suppose, but just a couple of OP spawns. But as we pull out for a bird's eye view, I mean, they're making some progress. We got to give them credit. They're making their way back up the hill. Artie's making it a bit difficult for them, but the effort is there, absolutely. Eastern Slope pretty clear for now, and I wonder if CoRe is just going to be focusing a bit more on defense right now for these last 8 minutes or so that they need to prevent any sort of capture.
Yeah, I think 10 minutes left in the grand final, you kind of have to be thinking about, let's just hold Hill 400. But I think CoRe also know that sometimes attacking is part of playing defense, putting the team on their back heels and pressuring them into doing things that don't allow them to dedicate a bunch of stuff towards Hill 400. I think they're going to keep playing aggressive here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen they're bringing some armor way out to the south. I wonder if that's eventually going to find its way over to Eastern Slope. DC did have a garrison up here for a moment, or down here, I should say, but that has since been taken out. Hill 400, still a couple of pieces of armor here. And yeah, I think I don't see how DC can push through right now. They're doing what they need to do with flares. They're moving up their armor once again. Oh, but that rocket from Mosh, that was 4 kills. That's a huge rocket. Second rocket going down. I wonder if that was a garrison spawn. Whatever it was, it's gone now. Oh, look at the carnage there. Oh, that's rough. That's a beautiful rocket from Mosh there. I'm glad we caught that at the very end. So, as we prepare for the end of the match... Oh, just the rockets from CoRe. That's rough. As we prepare for the end of the match, just want to say once again, thank you, everybody, for being here and for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts. Is CoRe going to hold these last few minutes? Will DC have an opportunity? We'd love to know your thoughts in chat right now.
Yeah, and it's just so hard with this height advantage CoRe has. You know, they're all pouring down on you while you're spawning on that road in the open.
Yep, here comes another spawn way out in the road. Player's going to drop instantly, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 players down, and all 5. Yeah, that is rough. This is where I think it starts to get to your head a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. Especially with 8 minutes left, you know, they've repelled some of your best attacks, and DC had some good pushes. They contested the point, you know, for a few times during the match, and
yep,
you know, I don't think they played badly at all.
No, absolutely not. I think especially against a team like CoRe, where, you know, CoRe is the absolute favorite to win it, and by, you know, most teams and most people in the community, it's been a great showing from both teams. I think it's been a fantastic final. And maybe DC can pull something out here. In fact, here comes the airhead that we were talking about. It should be down in just a couple of minutes. Yeah, that was just called in, so we'll keep an eye out on that. That plane is just coming in now.
Yeah, and Raisin's not too far. I'm sure he's hearing this plane right now and probably trying to see where that airhead's dropping.
Yeah. I don't know what their plan is for this. But hopefully they have some sort of plan if they want to make it happen. Under 7 minutes now, under 5 minutes now to start a cap. Flare being called out from DC. A strafing run. Oh, no. Is that it? Yeah,
that's
the Stuka.
Precision strike.
Yeah. That's going to try to take out this tank. Here it comes.
And
that tank's starting back up.
Backing up.
Let's see if they get it. Oh, no. That's a miss.
Damn.
Even if they did get it, though, I mean, there is the other 76 here. Here comes the flare from the recon. The airhead is down now. It is smoked off. Here comes... Is that a bombing run? That is a bombing run as well. This might be the attempt that they're going for. There goes Zoom. The airhead is going down. There's a half track.
Yeah.
The half track is in play. But that 76 is ready for it. They're right on the hill. DC, I mean, it's a worthy attempt. I don't see it happening, though. Here comes the spawn now on the half track. That airhead, I think that airhead was destroyed. But the half track spawn might be their chance. Already shelling down now. Still some smoke in the area. Mike Lowry going to drop Will. Sneaky, trying to sneak his way up the hill. Going to pass by Raisin. Excuse me. And yeah, with two tanks on Hill 400. Plenty of infantry for CoRe near Eastern. Liker and Lightskin going to get dropped by Bommel. And Eastern was actually being contested once again. Oh, but DC, here comes the big spawns now on the half track. This is the push. It's now or never. Eastern is being contested, though.
Oh my god, that's a huge wave.
This is going to be huge for the finish. Under 5 minutes now, under 3 minutes to start a cap. DC are making their way up to the trench. But it's not enough to start capping.
If they can just hold their 4th point until they can cap.
That 4th point.
Looks like it's already going down a little bit.
Yeah, it's flashing. Here comes Paramax with the satchel. Oh, George is going to jump out, but Paramax gets the kill, and the satchel's on. Oh, he gets blown up. Is that satchel? Yeah, that satchel is definitely still on. Is that tank just going to dive toward the infantry now with the satchel on it? I think it might. Oh, but Eastern is falling. Here comes the 76, going to make its way toward the infantry. Oh, no, it still has the satchel on it. Oh, no. Oh, Sneaky's just going to run past. Oh, yeah. What a play by the tank. I mean, if you know you're going to go down, that's incredible. What a hold. Oh, but the point is being contested now. DC are capturing the point with 3 minutes and 48 seconds now. It is being contested by CoRe. The armor is on the point, though. For CoRe, do they have tanks? There are no DC tanks. The half track is gone. I don't know if they can make it happen. Comes a strafing run as well. More spawns from DC. These are just OP spawns now. As we look at the map, couple of players coming from the southeast. There is a garrison that they can work with. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. CoRe now getting behind these OPs, though. That's going to be tough for them. Players are turning around, though. Trying to clear out some of these CoRe players. Zoom is taking fire from a couple of players. 3 minutes now left in the match. DC is putting all their power onto this point now. Players are making their way up from the eastern side as well, but CoRe are ready for these players. I think if you don't clear this tank, though, I think there's really no shot.
And I gotta say, this is reminiscent of the last final as well.
Oh, absolutely.
TL just kind of went all in the last few seconds. That's a huge bombing run, potentially.
Yeah, that's a CoRe bombing run. Oh, no. Oh,
I didn't
no.
think as many people as I thought, but...
Oh, but the spawns. There's only one OP. I think that's GG. 23 seconds left to start the cap. Oh, such a valiant effort by DC, but CoRe just playing this so beautifully, so perfectly to stop any sort of chance at this. 12 seconds. And CoRe is showing why they're the best team in the world right now. I mean, to be able to react to that, to be able to spot that and call that out, that's a GG. A fantastic seasonal from CoRe. That's going to be an undefeated season for CoRe. DC, this is the only team they lost to. DC with 9 wins and now 1 loss as CoRe claimed the championship here. But
yeah, I think great effort by both teams, and good job to both teams for even getting here seasonal, over the entire seasonal, not just this match. I thought both teams were really spectacular and really dominant. You don't see dominance like this very often from multiple teams, and I just thought they played really well all seasonal, and this match was no exception.
Oh, 100%. I mean, both teams with just 5-0 after 5-0 to start the seasonal. Let's take a look at our scoreboard here with about a minute left. Looks like top squad is actually going to be Able squad for DC. That's Soul Raver, Pang Pang, Mike Lowry, Farmer, and Wing. We saw them in the meat grind the entire match. So that's great work. Top defensive squad, that's going to be Ninja, SVK, Tashuna, Guerrilla Tactics, Driv, and Kamikaze. Can't see the top squad yet for CoRe, but we'll take a look at the end of the match. Excuse the camera movement there. But that is going to be the end of the match today. Corvus Rex, champions of the Fall Seasonal 22, back-to-back championships for this team. And it's just a fantastic showing from CoRe. This is a fantastic team. It's probably the most well-oiled machine in the game right now. So
yeah, and I think these two teams are probably looking for a rematch in the spring seasonal.
Oh, 100%.
They're by far the two best teams, and I think they definitely want to be here again.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think we will see them both again. I think after a match like this, after a run like this from both teams, how can you not come back even stronger? So CoRe, winners of the Fall Seasonal 2022. That is going to be GG in 3, 2, and 1. That is a 3-2 victory for CoRe. So let's take a look at the top squad for CoRe now. That is going to be 3,300, almost 3,400 combat score for the top squad. I apologize, I can't pronounce the name of the squad leader. I'm not going to attempt that. But Will, Profex, Bully, Dorby, and Bommel, fantastic showing. And Magic, let's get ourselves back into our little virtual studio here. Hey, Magic. Can't see you just yet, but we'll see you hopefully in just a moment. Yeah, just a great match. Absolutely fantastic final. Both teams played very well. And I think that's the final we were really looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that being said, we were thinking about maybe trying to talk to the commanders, but I think at this point, CoRe is celebrating. DC are probably in their own discords right now, so we're going to leave it be. But Magic, I want to know any final thoughts before we end today's broadcast.
No, just congratulations to both teams. I thought they both played well to get here and in the match as well. And I hope teams sign up for the spring seasonal, which is coming up for this next edition. It'll be fun and hopefully even better than this one.
Yeah, and one of the things we talked about today was the fact that we're going to see a lot of change. I think with this new council that Heidi talked about in our interview earlier today. I think that We're going to see teams come back stronger. Maybe we see some shakeups in teams, you know, maybe new alliances. Hopefully we get some new teams that do as well as our new teams did this seasonal. You know, shout out to Chimera for performing so well. But that is going to be it. Corvus Rex, winners of the seasonal, this fall seasonal 2022. Magic, thank you for a fantastic season. Thank you for being my co-caster. I think we had some fantastic matches. And lastly, I want to thank everyone who has tuned into games, everyone who has helped, our casters, everyone who has played. There's a lot of people that make this happen. So any final words before we send off, Magic?
Nope. Thanks for having me on, Anthony.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us here today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for the follows, these subscriptions, all the support. We appreciate you being here. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you for the next seasonal. That's it, Magic. Goodbye.
See ya.